Good evening. It's time for comics and cocktails with Cliff. Tonight I got BunkmastaB with me. We'll be back in a moment. I just love the mature content advisory, reminding people where you are. You're at the home of Bussy Busters and Brother Loads and all sorts of other fun shit. Tonight, I'm drinking Diet Coke Ashley, and I'm just, taking some cracking down because that's the week it is. I didn't have time for a proper cocktail.
That makes two of us. I had all these plans that I was going to do. I had to move on from one because I did not have time to make my ginger simple syrup that I usually make. And then I was like, great, I'll make this other thing instead. And then I didn't have time for that. So this week, our cocktail is just Buffalo Trace straight because it's been one of those kind of weeks. So,
oh my. Cheers. Welcome everyone to the chat. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and keep my eyes on you, chat. We're going to try and make this lively, keep it going, Look at this. Kane's like, oh my. It's that kind of drink. Oh, good job. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So, the beginning is the getting to know you portion, which is funny because we have established that I barely know you.
This is true. This
entire collaboration was over Discord DMs, and
it was just not as many of them as you might think.
That was really your what?
I said not as many of those as you might think. For the audience who's thinking there's been this like deep ingoing conversation, it was basically just like, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. All right, what's a date? Cool.
Yeah, on March 1st, I said, glad I found you. We should do a live stream together sometime. I'd love to do cocktails with you. Let's figure it out. I'll bring my delts and my traps.
All of this is true. You tried to throw me on coffee and cocktail, and I was like, nope. I will not be there for that early morning Cliff energy. I love a cup of coffee. I would say coffee is probably my favorite beverage ever. But no, absolutely not. I fell in love with you during your Jess appearance and just watching that unhinged energy going off compared to Jess's like tired dad energy, tired grandpa energy, really realistically. And I was like, nope. I want the drinking clip. I want the drinking clip.
Skin routine. Jess's skin routine. We got to do something.
There's only so many things you can do, but we will have an opportunity to try and get him on that when we go to Heroes.
Wait. Is Jess also a Power Rangers lore guy? I thought you were a Power Rangers lore guy.
I am. I think Kane is saying that I am those things. I don't. Jess has read, I think, Volume 1, and he was like, "Yeah, it was good." But I think Kane is pushing me up there and going over those things, and also subtly saying how, at this point, almost 2 years ago, I promised everyone that I was going to have a Power Rangers reading order video next week, and that was at this point a year and a half ago to 2 years with no Power Rangers reading order, which now I just say I'm waiting for the last hardcovers to cover the Melissa Flores era before it switches over to Prime to come out where I do that. But really, I just haven't gotten around to it.
My. Woo, the Melissa Flores era. What else has she written?
So she came on to the end after Ryan Parrott leaves the title at issue 100. After they split, they come back. She does that. She's done a few other things. So she did a story in Oni Press for Xeno. She was one of the rotating people there because she was a Power Rangers writer. She's now a writer on one of the Massive Verse titles. So I can't remember which one she's doing, but she's one of the people doing the Radiant Black side stories. She's on that one, and she's currently writing the relaunched Power Rangers Prime series.
Ooh, is that the one with the like? Is that the one with Rita? Like being
it's the one with Hot Rita.
Right, Hot Rita, but like Hot Rita is like not a villain or like trying to redeem herself or some shit.
She's doing like she's still a villain, but she's doing a villain as like the Zordon role. So the whole premise is that like it's an alternate Earth where the Altarian Zordon's race, they came here and colonized Earth and basically put humans under the boot hills. because there's monsters always coming in. So Omni Ossiverse is for life. I got my Macho Man on for this weekend. We're ready for this. But yeah, so they come on, and there's the Power Rangers are like a resistance group against this authoritarian Eltarians, and Rita comes in, crash lands in her dumpster, cuts out, and she's like, "Oh hey, I know the Eltarians. Those guys are dicks." And then she's also like, "Oh, Power Rangers, huh? I got a little bit of a history there. Hey, you guys want some power? I can give you some power." But yeah, you'll be my Rangers. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what happens.
But
So
is it one of those things where like, oh my god, am I turning into a better person? Is like that an underlying thing?
It's presumably we're gonna get around to something there, because right now it's still pretty early in the run. Like I don't think the first trade has even come out yet on that one. So we're still pretty early in. It's still like Rita's like, she's not the Eltarian, so she's not the big bad, but she's like, she ain't good.
Right, but like, she may be like, well, this is what oppression looks like, and people hate it. Maybe I don't want this. Maybe I like the accolades of people thinking I'm a hero.
We may come to that.
Also, you're gonna bang Jason because, like, I mean, if I were
Jason's
Rita,
not in this. It's they are one of the things
people.
What's up?
Randomly, wildly different Power Rangers.
So, some of them are original new characters. One of them is like there was a girl who was introduced on Samurai, which is a season I didn't watch, that they brought in and did this, and then it's like a bunch of new characters. In a lot of ways, it feels like Power Rangers fan fiction.
Doesn't always.
I don't love it, but I also, like, as Kane said, like, I've got a reputation I kind of got to uphold as, like, the Power Rangers guy, so I'm still reading it, and also I don't hate it enough that I'm hate reading it. Like, there's something there. I don't love it, but there's something there.
Interesting. So we've got Power Rangers, we got Lauren Sheba, June Moore, Mark Thou, Valentina, and Orion. All right, so Orion is a comic book character. She's the Super Mega Force Silver Ranger.
I mean, the less we say about Super Mega Force, the better. Like, do we really have to go over Super Mega Force?
I am trying to figure it all out. I'm trying to figure it out. All right, Valentina is the Yellow Ranger. Valentina is from in her Prime universe, she's from the Altarian Youth Corps. So that's interesting. Her and her boyfriend Ryan Steele and roommate June, they're Rangers. She's Prime Yellow Ranger, so she's new for this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got Mark.
With her, you get a little bit of the like, oh, I'm betraying my people, and like you get like, I'm on the honor roll, like I'm I'm someone who's like an intern and I'm like rising up through the ranks. I'm oppressed, but they notice me, so I'm turning my back on that. So like they're coming about it from some very classic angles.
June Moore is from what? Show me computer, show me internet, open the world to me. June Moore, half Altarian, also only so far nearly everybody here is it. All right, Lauren is from, come on Lauren, come on, be from something, girl. From something.
Lauren's from Samurai, isn't she?
Okay, so we have one Samurai Ranger and one Super Mega Force Ranger, and that's it. Everybody else is brand new for this.
By the way, in the chat, JSS, if you may, how dare you comment on my office? I am offended and appalled. And of course, thank you. That's very nice. I appreciate that. If you can't tell behind me, I've got some original art. I've got print. I've got some books. So thank you. Thank you.
I don't even
but
know.
I appreciate the beginning, the if I may, that you're like going over something and you're being like, I don't want to be too forward, but I enjoy your setup.
He's such a lovely, proper, or at least mostly proper gentleman.
I adore that. Just the fact that like, you're checking for consent beforehand. You're like, listen, I don't want to come off too much, but I would like to pay you a compliment. Is that cool? I like your setup. And it's just like, that's such a wonderful, like minor thing that also you're couching with that. But thank you, JSS.
But you do, and JSS is a gem. You do realize there's a lot of people out there who just really struggle with compliments. So I feel like
I am not one of those people. You can pour them on me. I am here to drink them all up. I'm here to drink Buffalo Trace and compliments and talk comics, and I'm all out of comics. Wait,
you're not out of comics. Speaking of pouring, all right.
Can you taste the Ashley when you mix that up? Does that come through?
Well, you know, being the glorified homosexual that I am, I've never tasted an Ashley before, so I wouldn't know.
I'm gonna let that sit there.
Let it simmer. You know, it tastes an awful like an awful lot similar to Beer Can Eddie. So
in the dark, they're all just holes.
You know, I wish it was that true. And I mean, I've tried to use that selling point before, but reality is reality.
I did say when I posted the link to this one, I was like, man, I hope I don't get canceled. So we'll see. We'll see how the bunk image comes through here, because I'm usually like, when I'm online, I'm normally a little bit of a NPR bunk. I'm kind of the, hey, let's talk about these books that I really like, a little bit more of that, and the like off the rails unhinged bunk. You usually got to get like go a little further. So the internet hasn't seen too much of that side.
No, but I broke that immediately just by inviting you here. But it's really funny because you're actually just a sprinkle of NPR, a splash of Mr. Rogers, and a smattering of like, I almost want to say Conan O'Brien.
I will absolutely take all of this. I'm going to clip this, and like whenever I'm feeling the slightest bit down on myself, I'm going to like listen to that and be like, you are all of those things. You are. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. And I'm like, I can work with this. Cliff, have you decided what you're going to do if you ever meet Bunk in person, maybe this June? Are we both going to Heroes Con?
We are both going to Heroes Con. As long as you're going. I can't speak for you, but I'm going to.
Okay, so does that mean that I give you the full hug and pick you up off the ground and spin you?
I mean, you can try. You cannot see from right now, but I am a large man at 6'6".
And I am 6'3", and my ex Mateo is 6'6", so I can pick you up.
I would love to be picked up. I am granting you consent for a pickup spinning hug right now.
It's gonna be great. Look forward to that, James. Bring a pint out of me so I can come too. Bring a print out of me. Oh, a printout. Oh, I get it. Yes.
The idea that we have Bo coming with us at all places. So like every picture that we do when we meet Jess and we have that, we just kind of set up Bo right there, and he's just there with all of us all going along. I like that idea.
I wish it was that clever. You know?
I feel like it's not so much clever. It's more about just like the planning and the packing and the like when you're prioritizing things and you've got that like suitcase and you're like, what am I bringing with me? It's like,
I'm not like odds people who bring all sorts of cardboard shit with them and like just make the magic happen. I am not that person. I am not that kind of gay. I wish, deep down, I want to be the gay that can do anything, because nothing was more awful than having to just accept the fact that you're gay. So like everything else can't be that bad. I want to be that kind of gay. I love those kinds of gays. They're the best. They're the absolute best. You know, it's like, oh, do you like my new fort? I built it myself with my boyfriend. Really? How did you do it? I just figured nothing was worse than the abuse that I went through being a homosexual in high school. And I just put my mind to it and cut up some logs and built this. You know, come look at the interior trim I did.
Look, my hands are bleeding to the bone. I literally my muscles is going up blood. But you know what? It's not as bad as high school. So it's here.
Right. They used all the proper equipment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, not just high school. You know, falling in love, being denied benefits, living in states where they were treated like garbage, having to move from state to state to figure out their lives, all that stuff. Comments. Good evening.
So speaking of that, you're in New York right now, right?
Yes.
So I'm a Vermonter by birth. Like I grew up all through Vermont, lived there, stayed mostly through New England.
Oh, that's so funny. One of my friends is semi-Vermontian.
Okay, tell me what semi-Vermontian is.
He like was born down here and grew up here a little bit, but then his father's job moved him to Vermont, so they had to uproot their entire life for that and live in Vermont, where he fell in love with his future husband, stayed there for school and or work, and then came back down here where he and his future husband are both originally from. Right? Okay. It's so funny.
It took Vermont to bring them together. Now, do you know?
Together.
Do you know if your friend? Because like there's like two kinds of Vermont, and like everywhere in Vermont is one of these two places. It's either hippie liberal Vermont, which is the one that everybody thinks of. It's where our few cities are. It's where you get like Bernie Sanders going up, and everybody thinks Vermont. There's that, and then there's like backwoods, bumfuck nowhere Vermont, which is geographically most of the state, and that's where I'm from.
I don't think it could have been that, or maybe is it possible to live in a hybrid area?
You could live. I mean, basically, if you are not directly in one of those cities, you are in rural countryside, but you can get to one of those areas that is hippie liberal Vermont. So it's like you don't necessarily live there, but you're close enough that you can get there. But it's like it's basically like you're in Burlington, you're in Montpelier, you're in Brattleboro, or you are in the country.
I think they were in Burlington. I think it was Burlington.
That would make sense. That is by far our most populated city.
Yeah, so that makes the most sense. But the apartment they had was the third floor of somebody's house. Yep. So like, that's just like one of the interesting things.
That sounds very Burlington. Yeah, that everything you're saying right there is absolutely sounding like that.
Phil's treehouse. I live in the southern part of Canada known as Michigan. All these Michiganders.
Phil, I'm just south of you. I'm down in Ohio now, but every summer we get up to northern Michigan. Beautiful area, love it.
All right, I'm supposed to be asking you the getting to know you questions. Your first comic book that you ever owned. Do you remember what it is, and do you still have it?
So I do remember. I unfortunately don't have the one that I owned growing up. I do have it back, but my first comes from this run right here. It is the Mark Waid, Ron Garney, although Andy Kubert is the one who drew my first one that I had. So as I just mentioned, I grew up in rural Vermont, and we did not have Captain Underpants. That was my shop. So yeah, Earth Prime was absolutely my thing. I was living in Burlington from like 2005 to like 2007-ish. And the guy that used to run it, Jason, that was my guy. Ethan, he was in my file. He wrote it down as Big Bad Ben. And I, in 2008, basically took a year where I just like moved across, and I was like, I've only ever been in Vermont. I want to try something else. And I just decided I was going to move to a new place every month to 2 months. And I kept my file. I didn't cancel it. And so they kept my pull list for like a year, and like all the people I knew left. And so when I got back the next year, they were like, we were wondering who is Big Bad Ben and who we're pulling all of these books for.
Big Bad Ben.
I have great love for Earth Prime. That is still to this day one of my absolute favorite comic shops on Earth. And I'm trying to find. Okay, almost. I'm vamping right now. Okay, so like I said, so I didn't grow up having comics in town. Like we did not have I didn't have a comic shop anywhere. We didn't have them in town. The only place I could really get comics was when I would visit my grandmother, who lived in Maine, not a big metropolitan area, but she lived in a college town, and so they had them there. And so it was like when I would go, I would get to see them. And my grandmother was a big old patriot. You know, she was a daughter of the American Revolution, and she was that. So for her, the safe comics were Captain America, because that's all about America. And it just so happened that coincided with the Mark Waid run, which is still to this day one of my favorite run of comics ever. And so Captain America #8 from the relaunch was my first ever, and that right there is in the middle of my omnibus, Mark Waid's signature. because unfortunately I don't still have my original one I had, and I only got the second one later. But when I brought this to him to sign, he was like going to sign the beginning. I was like, actually, can you sign like the middle of it where no one's ever going to see it? And he was like, I can, but like, do you really want that? And I was like, yes, more than anything. So Captain America #8, it's part 2 of the crossover Live, Free or Die. I never read any of the other parts until I was much older. And so I just had this standalone part 2 of all of this, but it was still enough that like I was like, this is my thing. Any chance I ever get to get a comic, I'm doing it. I love this.
Amazing. Amazing. Oh my gosh. So let me get myself together. Well, since we are drinking, if you could have a drink with any comic book character, who would it be?
I actually filmed a video about this that I never put up. It's still in like the raw stage that I just need to actually like edit it and then do that. And I'm trying to think of like who would be my #1. I'm going through the different ones, and I think I reserve the right to change this later, but I believe my #1
Oh, he got up and everything.
We're doing show and tell this whole story. We are absolutely doing that.
Good evening, Kevin.
My #1 would be Richard Fell from the series Fell. That went way too short for Image Comics. Written by Warren Ellis, drawn by the amazing Ben Temple-Smith. Have you ever read Fell?
Unfamiliar.
It is the weirdest police crime story you've ever read. Basically, Snowtown is this super out there, like rundown town where like everything is going bad. It's like if Gotham turned worse, and it has all the weirdest crimes. And basically, the main detective in this, Richard Fell, used to be a hotshot detective from across the bridge. Did some stuff we don't quite know about it, but as punishment, he got shipped out to Snowtown, and he has to go there. And the whole premise of this is that basically Warren Ellis would just scour the news in the internet for the weirdest stories, basically the Florida Man stories. And when he would find that, he would read about these things, and he's like, okay, now what if that was a crime, and what if I was writing about someone investigating it? And so it is the weirdest things. Like in this first issue, it ends up being a murder where this wife ends up murdering her husband, who's an alcoholic, but he has like an esophagus issues, so he can't drink it. But he was so addicted that he had to take wine enemas in order to like feel normal. And then so like the enema bags that she had at one day, she just replaced it with poison. So when they were doing the toxicology report, like they did a swab of his tongue. It's like, no, there's nothing there. And it's like, that was a real story that he read about. And of the guy like dying from like overdosing from wine enemas. And he's like, all right, now what if that was a crime? And like the whole story is these weird stories like that, all while being amazing, amazing things. And Richard Fell has to investigate them. So yeah, I want to drink with Richard Fell, and I want to hear the weird stuff that he's going to tell.
I don't know if I can handle another weird drinking evening with anyone.
Are you kidding? Weird drinking evenings are like my favorite thing. Like that's when you get to know someone.
But I'm
like,
getting old. Like I'm getting old, you know?
How dare you? How you are like, I know you're like, oh, I'm 40 something. Like, oh, whatnot. You are eternally youthful, and I will not hear of it.
It's all illusions. It's all magic. It's all the semen I've swallowed. It's just, you know.
See, listen, like I'm a few years south of 40, and like you see this all going in, you see that,
I know, but you still got belts and traps. You're gonna be okay.
Oh, speaking of that, is it Is it hot in here? Does anyone else think it's kind of hot? Like I'm feeling
Comic
like
Toby thinks it's too hot. Yes.
That
There
feels
we
better.
go.
That feels better.
Bravo. 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 Now I can thank everyone for that. There's our cooldown. And look at those delts. Like, how do you get them? Was it just your genetics? And you're like, oh,
No.
look, I have delts.
No,
or you're like, I worked for these.
No, I am like if left to my own devices, I am like skin and sinew over skeleton. Like I'm 6.5 feet tall, but like I am very slender framed. I spend a lot of time to basically make this happen.
Did you mean 6.5 feet, or do you mean you're 6'6"?
6'6", 6.5 feet. So a foot is 12 inches. So if you take half of that, it is 6 inches.
I don't know why it sounds weird. It just sounds weird to me. Maybe because like I just don't get to hear it that often. You know. By the way, there was a guy in the supermarket tonight who was 6'6" with his girlfriend, and he must have been like 22 or some shit. But I was like, whoa, I don't see this all the time. And he's like, excuse me, and I was like, people who are taller than me. You know, I was like, this is not every day. It's not every day.
So, yeah. Yeah, that is the thing that like, I do like people around 6'4" or so. Like, you know, like when you come up, there's like that moment where it's like they're kind of looking. They're like, is he? Because like I think 6'3", I think is the threshold where you like start to feel tall. Like 6'2", it's like I'm like regular size, but I'm tall. 6'3", it's like you can officially put like, okay, I'm tall.
No,
like,
let me tell you.
Tall with like a capital T.
From experience, at 6 foot, you can start being like, I'm tall. And then 6'1", 2, 3, you're like, yeah. And then 6'4", 5, 6 is like, whoa.
Maybe I'm talking about like tall with like a capital T. Like there is like right. There is like
tall with a T, and then there's tall with the capital T.
Yeah.
And then there's XLT, you know? So there's that.
But yeah, I feel like it's once it's that 6'4", that's where it's like you have to like tall as part of your identity, where it's like people see me and they kind of like look and they're like, and they like think like in their head like, is he tall? Am I taller? Am I like? It's like, can we be in the same place at the same time? Like I'm used to being the tallest guy in any room, and like now that guy's there, so like, is this weird?
No, it's just weird for you because now you're not the tallest guy in the room.
Right, you know? Right. For me, like I don't like I would say that like. You know, being tall is like something I am. Like I don't. Maybe it's because like I'm not part of the dating scene anymore. So it's like it doesn't have to be like part of like I'm not on like you know the apps or anything where it's like 6'6" and like that's not part of a thing for me. But like so I've definitely been around some people who like I've made insecure by existing. I'm like, hey man, you just go live your life, and they're just like, Am I taller? Are we taller? Like, what's happening here? Why are you here? Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, it's like the insecurity you're producing. So this is cute. So I have a client, and she's a very tall woman, still shorter than me, but the tallest woman in our work atmosphere whatsoever. And I took her to an interview, and the guy interviewing her, who I really got to try and like find a cool way to ask him out on a date and like not blow the professionalism. Because I was getting super strong gay vibes. Like you went into his office and everything was Halloween 2 and Jamie Lee Curtis. And if that doesn't scream horror gay, then once again, my gaydar is broken, right?
Jamie Lee is an icon. I mean, that's just straight up. Like you don't need to be gay to appreciate Jamie Lee.
No, you don't. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I was getting so much gay energy, so much gay vibes, so much red beard bear energy. Right? Like, come on, man. Like, who has a Tumblr dedicated to Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween 2?
Okay, all right. Now, you did not say the Tumblr. Like, there's like I have pictures, I have figurines, and then there's I have a Tumblr. Like that's a different line. Okay, I'm with you.
So I gotta try and ask him out, and he's always busy. He drives me crazy. But yeah, we go to interview, and he's tall like me, and she's tall, and this dude who's there walking dogs, he's tall, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, girl, do you see what's going on in here? You know? Oh, Travis, I love you so much. Hello, sir. a true icon, a legend, and just a beautiful soul who also has gorgeous traps and delts. Just for the record.
Honestly, like one of the things about I love like the niche of like comics YouTube that I exist on, and it looks like you do too, is like I love that like it can be, there can be negative, like it's not always positive about things, but it's not the comics suck. Let me just tell you, like let's all complain about comics, and it's just filled with beautiful souls of people who love comics and they want to just talk about comics, and like you'll call out the shit that isn't good, but it's like I love like how many just like beautiful souls you meet here online. Like this is a space I really enjoy.
Yes, and that's really what I strive for, even if that doesn't always work. But I strive for it. I try to bring out what we all enjoy. I try to remember the beauty, the majesty of the world of comics that help take me away from.
Right, like there's enough stuff to complain about in the real world. Like we don't need to like.
Oh God, there's more than enough stuff
on comics and be like, these are terrible. Here's why it's. There's enough stuff out there that like you can be like, yeah, this is terrible, and I have to live with it. I'm not gonna go out and seek it out in my comics where it's like, I want to be angry about comics. Let me buy this comic I know I don't know, or I know I don't like, by a writer I don't like, and let me just go on the internet and be like, ah, they ruined this. Like, why do that?
Yeah. Because you want to keep your run. You've been buying Amazing Spider-Man since you were 12 years old.
Yeah, that's
now
different.
You're 52, and now you just can't stop. But it's still shit every week, and it's mediocre, and you're losing your mind. But I can't break my run.
That's different. That Wells run was
like this with double squirt guns, like pow, pow, pow. Break the illusion. Break it. Break it. Break free. Right.
So this is not the first time I've heard you go on about Amazing Spider-Man, and it's not the first time that I've agreed with you on Amazing Spider-Man. For your money, when was the last time that the Amazing Spider-Man title was not like acceptable or passable, but was like legitimately good? Because Spidey, Peter, not Ultimate Peter, he's had a rough go of it for the last few years.
Dude, the last time I remember being excited reading Amazing Spider-Man was Doc Ock Spider-Man. And I hated that for almost a year because they kept toying with Peter being in his mind and Peter being a dick. And I'm like, why does the Peter in his mind have to be a dick? Like, this is terrible. So I was upset about that. But then once it got its own momentum, I was like, yeah, I like this. I like the little lady in the lab who likes him. I like all of this. I got so into it.
I remember, like, even going back, I was, so I really like the character Silk when she got her own title.
Again,
when
wasted character, wasted opportunities.
100%. But I remember, like, when I was first reading her and she was introduced in the Dan Slott ASM run, I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself in? Why did I decide this is a character I want to read? And it's just like horny for spiders is just like what that was. And it was just like, you know, I'm sexy like spider lady who was in a bunker and we can't stop making out with each other. We have pheromone. And it's just like, what?
It's
like,
a pheromone thing.
Why does this character just there? So it's like, Peter can't stop hooking up with this hot spider lady. And then when she got her own title, it's like, this is great. This is so good. And she's so different. And then it's like the way that she's being presented, her relationship with Peter is, it's like, you know, like he's there and it's like that number you don't want to text, but it's there. And it's just like, hey, you up? And you're like looking at that and you're like, I am up. Do I want to text? And it's like, they did so much more with that. Whereas like in the Dan Slott run, like it makes me angry that, again, she is a legitimately fantastic character. I loved her. I wish she got more than just what she did, but also like they had to like get her and take her and turn her into something because what they were given was nonsense. And that was all out of the Dan Slott run. Like it's been a minute since like the Dan Slott regular Peter, not Superior, but like just after Superior when he comes back on the title. It's been a minute since Peter's gotten some good things there.
It's so funny. And I just love that it's the same radioactive spider that bit Peter, and before it dies, it's like, oh, I bit this other girl too. But it works.
the rationale of like why she needed to go away in the bunker, it's like they just needed a bunker girl because apparently they loved Kimmy Schmidt and just really wanted like to have a bunker girl. And it's like
what a deep dive, sir. What a hard take with Kimmy Schmidt. Good for you. Good for you.
But it's just like, yeah, more whatever, like spider totems. Oh no, now I'm here, now I'm out. It just here's the dumb.
Did you just love them marrying her off to Daniel Radcliffe?
I mean, I will say, the interactive episode was not the best thing I ever saw, but I had a lot of fun.
Did you get the perfect ending?
I did, and I also got the
I got the worst ending too.
Oh yeah, I went back to I still my wife and I will joke when Titus is at the bar and he's gonna sing Freebird, and you have the option of he knows Freebird, he doesn't know Freebird. We will still just randomly start singing Freebird, Freebird from when he doesn't know it, and he's like works in the pet shop, and he's like, of course I know Freebird. Who wants this bird? Freebird, Freebird.
From the first time around, I was like, bitch is from the South. He knows Freebird. So I just picked it. I was like, oh my God, he's really good. This is happening. I'm like,
yeah. Broadway singer Titus is good at say who knew, and of course.
No, because I genuinely didn't know. I didn't know him before that show. You know, so like he actually sang Freebird like a goddamn pro, and I was like, oh shit. And then the next time I saw him in life was in Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the genie. And he was amazing. He was so amazing that my friend, who had never been to a Broadway show before, started fucking crying. And because my friend started crying, I started crying. And he's a grown-ass straight man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Listen, you're talking to a theater kid. Like I'm aware of what the theater can do to people.
No theater kid. He is no theater kid. Okay. He is masculine, motorcycle riding, tattoo engraving, you know, whole hookup swinger party rolling dude, right? And he was like, I didn't think I was ever gonna see something so beautiful before. And I was like, oh my God, this is happening. Like, just lost it. And then that was such a good time. What do we do next? We booked plans to go see Beetlejuice.
I did not see how was the Beetlejuice musical?
It was so good, and I liked it right from the beginning. It's off canon, and Beetlejuice comes out. He goes, "Oh, we broke canon in the first scene." Oh, you know, it's like you're not in for the movie, folks. And like the couple playing the ghost couple. Like, they're so good at being boring. It was too good. I'm like, they're too boring, you know? But Beetlejuice was amazing. I got to see the first actress who played Lydia, and she was amazing, you know? And it was in the Winter Garden Theater, of course. And I was like, man, I thought Cats was supposed to play here forever. And also because it was in the Winter Garden Theater, I was stuffed in there like a hot goddamn sausage in the middle of a fucking... I don't even know. What am I thinking about? Where would a sausage not belong? Wherever that place is. Wherever that place is. It was that. You know? It was pretty awful. I had nowhere to put my coat. I was like, what? Like did they close all the is it just no coat rooms anymore? I was like, this is supposed to be the Winter Garden Theater. There's nowhere to check my coat. I was like, this is some bullshit. I'm a fat fucking dude. I want to be able to check my goddamn coat. You know? In the meantime, when I went to go see Gloria Estefan's show, I could check my coat. There was an intermission with cocktails, and you could purchase cocktails.
Yeah. When have you not been to a Broadway show that they didn't have an intermission and there's a full bar that's going there? Like, that is part of the theater experience.
Beetlejuice was one of them. The nerve. The Winter Garden Theater. Fuck y'all, Winter Garden Theater. How dare you?
By the way, I just have to say, I did miss about half of what you were going on about, because when you were talking about your friend, and I was like, yeah, I have theater kid energy, and Yeah, and you were like, yeah, no, he's nothing like you. He's masculine. He's doing that. And I was like, oh, my pride. So I missed after all.
Don't worry. You're plenty. Your pride got in the way of hearing. I was like, don't worry. You're plenty masculine. Got that beautiful beard. You've got the delts, which are just great. You know, you already know gay men want you, so like it's all built in.
I will say, historically, if I had been attracted to men, my romantic record would have been far better than me being hetero. Which, like, I'm married, I'm happily married. I am very satisfied with my dating record.
Somewhere in the multiverse, I want to see who you hooked up with in gay multiverse.
Gay bunk is like legendarily pulling, because just like from like an objective standpoint of like the people that like would regularly approach me like being attractive, you look on the women's side, it's like, okay, like, you know, these are attractive women. I'm like, wait a sec, that dude's into me? Like, could I be gay? Like, let me
like,
like, here? I mean, and I'm just like, damn it, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Like, did Zachary Quinto just give me his number? What is going on?
Yeah, like I'm honestly like a little like, this is a wasted opportunity. Like, I'm sorry, like you look like that, and you want like I'm. Do you? Are we looking at the same person? Like, you know, like I'm like I have a very good like self body. Like, I'm very positive in that, but it's like, have you seen yourself? Do you know what you look like? And you want to talk to? Yeah. Somewhere gay bunk, like in another multiverse, gay bunk is doing very well for himself.
In theory, I think bisexual bunk in the multiverse is doing the best.
Oh, yeah, no, bisexual bunk is living his best life. Absolutely. Like, he's had some like very insecure years where he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's like, I have to put a label on it, especially with like bisexual erasure. Like, I have to choose one lane. I'm not this, I'm not that. But when he finally comes to, or like pansexual bunk, when that multiversal version of me like comes to terms with what he is, it's like he wields that like a superpower. He loves everybody, and everybody loves pansexual bunk.
100% having the best life. That best
100%. Like, yeah.
Unless, of course, he turns out like Beer Can Eddie. Which also, technically, like, as much as I'm really judgy about him, number one, I still hook up with him. Number two, he is living his best life. He really is. You know, he screws whoever he wants. He's got the wife. He's got the kid. He's got everything, you know? I mean, like, should I judge? You know, he doesn't cheat on his wife with women, and apparently she's perfectly okay with this.
So that's the thing. There's the consent. If she's okay with that, then it's not cheating in there. Like, that's something that they have decided within their relationship exists within the parameters. There's consent from both parties. That's, you know, well, like, at that point, it's the lying, it's the pain for the other partner. But if that's the case, like, go for it. You do your thing.
Absolutely. Woo. All right. I have other questions I'm supposed to ask you.
I have other answers if you've got them.
What got you into actually collecting comics? Oh, he's up again. I love this.
All right. So this actually relates back to one of our previous posters here, who asked if I had ever been to Earth Prime Comics in Burlington, Vermont, because that is the shop where I went from someone who liked comic books and read them to someone who collects comic books and goes for it. Like, that was where I started my first hunt. So, you know, again, I started my life without, you know, constant access to comics, and so it was like hit or miss. I never had the opportunity to like find a run. It was just like, I will buy this issue, I will love this, but like the idea of getting a run never occurred to me. And, you know, I had a pull list. You know, like I had a, you know, I started a pull list. I started doing some things. I was reading some things, and that was when trades were starting to be a thing. So I was like getting access to a story. But it was not until I found Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cowan's The Question run that I was like, oh my God, I need to find every issue of this story. This is before we had the omnibus. This is before trades came out for this. And I was like, I read the first few and I was like, this is my comic. Like, Denny wrote this for me. This is issue 2, which is my favorite issue of the run. I do somewhere in this mess that you can't see out of there. I do have issue 1, which is also signed and remarked by Dennis Cowan. But I don't know where that is. And also this one's my favorite. But like I read that, and this was one where it's like I would find this issue and this issue, and it was like I had to fill in the hole. So like when I first bought,
I know about filling in the hole.
you would have been so helpful for me there. Young Bunk, when you were volunteering your ability to help me fill the hole, it'd be like, great, I'm looking for issue 2 and all of these. And you're like, oh, I'll help you fill that. Don't you worry. That empty spot in your, yeah. But yeah, like this was the one where like I was able to find, like I found a decent amount of a run at Earth Prime. And I read all of those that I had, and I was like, I need to find the rest. And that was whenever I would go outside of my bubble. It was like whenever we'd go anywhere, whoever I was going with, I was like looking up where there were comic shops, and I'd be like, stop, we need to go here. We need to go. We need to stop what we're doing. We need to go to this comic shop. I need to go find. And they're like, are you kidding me? I was like, nope, we're doing that. I was on the crew team in college. We went on spring break at one point. We were doing double practices. And there was one point where we were coming off the water and we were driving by somewhere and there was a comic shop. And I was like, stop, let me out here. I will walk back to the hotel from here. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's like 3 miles. I'm like, I will do that. It's fine. It's a straight shot. I need to look here and I will meet up with you guys later. So they dropped me off. I bought my issues and I went back, and that was the series where I became a comic collector.
Damn, I love it.
Also, James, what are we? Cliff knows how to get Bunk up. What? I don't remember the last time Bunk got up this many times. Are we doing a phrasing thing there, or James? Are you trying to?
I think it's part phrasing, part he hasn't seen you stand up to get stuff so much, and here we are.
All right, James, I see you. I see what you're doing here.
I mean, again, I want to believe that because we're both tall men that, like, if I was going to sway you, it would be with my warm, beautiful hugs and my tall, supple body, my ample bosom. I feel like that would be the lure.
I mean, there is something about that, like that. There's something so good about like a big person to hug. Like one of, still to this day, my favorite people to hug in the world. My first serious girlfriend that I had, she had an aunt who was 6'3", and she was just this delightful human. She was wonderful, and it was like every time that we would like get together, first off, she was genuinely delightful. Like we genuinely liked being around each other, but part of it was also her husband was like 5'4", and you know, like they had a wonderful
relationship.
They had a wonderful relation. I am not suggesting anything about the status of their marriage, but I think also like for her, it was partly like this exciting thing that she would come and see me, and it would be like, oh my gosh, like I have someone and like it would, like there was nothing sexual, there was nothing sensual about it, but it was just so nice to have that hug with like a human that was like the closest to my size. And there is absolutely something so nice about having, like, especially that 3-inch gap that's like enough that you can kind of like turn and get in. Like I think a 3-inch gap is like the perfect hug distance.
Oh, we'll see about that 3-inch gap. Woo!
Oh, Cliff.
Woo!
I just hope it's more than 3.
Oh, I'm definitely filling that gap with more than 3. So I hope you're bringing my specialty, which is 7 or better. That's like my public mandate, you know.
Okay. I am a married man who was straight. I'm not bringing anything.
Yeah. Of course not. Of course. I understand. Oh my God.
Canceled, Bunk. Don't get canceled.
Don't get canceled. You're so silly. Okay. Do you have a preference on raw books or graded books, or both?
So I definitely have a preference. I am not a graded book person at all. As you can see behind me, I'm a reader more than anything else. So most of everything that I have is all there. If I have something that I'm excited about and special, like I'm going to have it in somewhere where it's accessible and it's displayable, but I'm not going to go and get it graded. I have 2 graded books in my collection.
2.
Which one of them I think is like legitimately cool, and the other I just think is hilarious. So the one that I think is cool is a Man of Steel #1 that is signed and remarked by Jerry Ordway.
Okay, I was gonna be like, why the fuck is that an art label? And I'm like, oh, it's remarked. It's remarked. I understand.
I did not submit this. It's also CBCS. The book itself is in it's in very good condition. Like there's, you probably can't tell in here. There's a slight corner tick right there. There's no spine dings. You look either side. Color is good.
Okay, so it's in very fine condition.
This would be 9.0 or higher.
All right. So
I'm guessing that
is near mint minus. Ooh.
I'm saying, if you look at this book, the only thing is there's the tiniest little issue on that top corner. Everything else is pristine. I think it's just an issue that the signature and the remark were not witnessed. And so it's the art label. So because you can't get that, but it's also
so how did you get it? If you didn't submit it, how did you get your hands on that?
I purchased it secondhand from a comic shop. It was a whatnot auction. They put it up.
You choose to choose the art label, just so you know.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm a little.
You're right.
Wait a sec. Never mind. It was a witness signature, so I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Right. Well, no, you can, but that's what I'm saying. They chose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said, I want art. I don't want graded. I don't know why they did that, but also because of that, this normally with that remark there would be a lot more than what I paid for this. And granted, it was whatnot, and they were upset with how low it went, but whatever.
And you know what makes me a little sad is that clearly looks like somebody would wanted that for life, and then they had to sell it for whatever reason.
It was not that. This was.
And you know what? Then shame on them.
Signed in 2021, so this is not this has been part of someone's collection for forever. The signature itself is really clean, and the remark same way.
Well, it could have been something special from their collection. It could have been around. It could have been a whole thing.
I bought it shortly after that, and I bought it directly from a comic shop.
Then in that case, how dare they be upset that it sold too low? Get over it. You know what? You know what? They were being greedy during the pandemic. They're being greedy during the pandemic.
100%. The second the slab book I have, I think, is hilarious. So, are you an X-Men guy? I know that historically you've got a really good knowledge of key issues and things like that. I know Spider-Man's a big one. I know you like Legion. How are you on your X-Men?
How dare you?
I'm asking legitimately. I assume.
What does this look like to you over here? Hold on. What does this book look like to you, sir? What is that?
Well, that's next to a Power Rangers Necessary Evil tie-in. That I'm so sorry. I'm not looking at that X-Men. I'm just looking at the that 9.8 signature series that's next to it.
Triple signature on this.
Okay, fantastic.
Look back here. Look at this.
I mean, again, Necessary Evil is when you get Ryan Parrott on the title. Ryan Parrott is my favorite Power Ranger. Oh, sorry, what were you saying? I lost.
X-Men number 4. Do you see the X-Men number 4?
If I have to, I was enjoying watching that Power Rangers.
And do you see this first Julian costume over here?
Next to the Marvel masterpieces, Timeless Thor. I do see that. Yeah.
Yes. All right. You see that Beast? You see Beast?
I feel like you've been trying to show me that Beast all night, and I've been doing the best I can to try and be like, whoa, I'm not that kind of girl.
No, you are that kind of girl tonight because you're here.
Okay.
All right. Was my point made?
Okay. Yes, it was. Okay. So, and I know that you're a key issue guy. Do you know what's special about Uncanny X-Men 266?
First Jim Lee?
First appearance of Gambit, Jim Lee is on the title. First full.
Right. first appearance of Gambit, as we now know, is a controversial issue.
Yeah, 260, he like kind of appears. It's like the same way where like Wolverine, like everyone says Hulk 181 is like first Wolverine, but like there's kind of a cameo in 180. Anyway, I have a slabbed Uncanny X-Men 266. It is, however, a Brazilian Portuguese digest size reprint in a 6.5, but specifically with the Uncanny X-Men. And I loved how absolutely stupid this is. And I also love being able to be like, I have a first appearance of Gambit slabbed. And then it's like, you just show that, and they're like, oh. So that is, those are my 2 slab books. But anything else, slab's not a particular thing that I care about.
It's listen, man. Brazilian first appearance sounds magical.
I mean, again, I have a lot of friends in the Brazilian community, so like the fact if it could be any other language, the fact it is Brazilian Portuguese like makes it even more special to me. And just like it's so like if a regular comic is that size and it's shrunk down to that, like I just love all of that even more. One I would have gotten slabbed if I had the opportunity. This is a Stray Dogs #1 by Tony Fleece and Tone Rodriguez. Unfortunately, there were no CGC witnesses that were available, but this is they did my dog. They drew my dog on the cover of this one. And Stray Dogs is a series I absolutely love. I would have 100% paid to get signature slab on this one, but unfortunately didn't have that opportunity. And I have already one art label. I've done that dirty deed. I'm not doing that again.
Okay. I mean, there are other options.
I mean, if at that point, like if it's an unwitnessed signature, like I'm not going, what is it, purple label or like green label, where it's like, we're grading it as if that wasn't there. Like
No, they have authentication services at CBCS and CGC now.
Yeah, I'm good on that. If I'm gonna do anything I'm just gonna get like a comic guard or whatever they call that. And I'm just gonna put that in. It's just gonna be a thing. Like
those things ruin your fucking walls. Don't do it.
Listen. I'm not here for the sticky goose propaganda. I'm not here.
That's not a sticky goose propaganda. I'm literally telling you from personal use.
Okay. If I was going to put any of that stuff up on my walls, I would be putting my original comic pages on. I'm not putting CB, the slabs or anything like that.
My particular niche. I'm gonna try really hard to not be offended by your goddamn commentary. I'm gonna try real fucking hard to not be offended by your commentary.
Oh, you have those reprints that like thousands went out. That's so cute.
None of these are reprints, bitch. What are you talking about, goddamn reprints? The only reprint on my wall.
I'm saying the prints that there are thousands of that went out. That's so cute.
What are you talking about?
They're one of one, but
what are you talking about, Prince? These are great.
Yeah, so were the other, thousands that went out when they printed there.
Yes, and how many of them were burned because of people who were like, "Oh no, the homosexuality and the sexuality is poisoning our children."
I mean, have you seen how pouty Robin's lips are? I mean, honestly, like that is seduction.
He was waking up in bed with Bruce. That's how I ended up with this gem, by the way.
Is that? That's awesome. That's really cool. Which Action Comics is that?
This is Action Comics 147, and the noteworthiness of it is the first cover appearance of Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy has my heart. Jimmy is one of my absolute favorites.
And I love this issue because Superman gets put in charge of the Lovelorn column, and it gets out of fucking control immediately. Ooh, look who's staying up late in bed. Oh, wait, no. Elon's up.
What's up, Elon? I don't know what time it is in Wales, but I appreciate you being here.
I will say this. I have not tried the newest version of Comic Capsule where they swear that they have addressed a lot of the issues, so give it a shot.
So, by the way, my love of Jimmy. This is Stuart Immonen, one of my favorite comic artists ever. One of my favorite pages is when he was on Adventures of Superman, and it's Jimmy with an exploding building going to the payphone to call Superman. Love it.
You know, I don't know why they bothered to give Jimmy the signal watch, only to have it break like 2 issues later.
I mean, because it's like the whole thing where if you go back to like classic horror movies and you give them a cell phone, there's no movie. You know, it's like so many of those times they cut the landline if they're even acknowledging that that's there. Like every time else, it's like, oh, hey, let me just call someone real quick from this thing that I control. Hey, yeah, there's a murderer here. Cool, thank you. And then you just do that. So like, you can't just always have Jimmy with the signal watch. You got to have Jimmy in mortal peril and figure out and turn into a turtle and do stuff, and then you have Superman come in.
Oh my god, I love the many renditions of Jimmy Olsen. Like, what is he? He's like Devil Kid, Elongated Lad, Turtle Boy.
Did you ever, by the way, read so from James' comment right there, the recent Matt Fraction and Steve Reason came out like
yes, wild, love it.
That is one of my favorite books of all time. In fact, every time that I am in line to vote, because I'm still one of those old people who still likes to vote in person, even though it makes me so angry. Every time I go, and while I'm just standing there, I'm like seething with thoughts about what's happening there. And the book I always bring with me whenever I'm in line to vote is always that book, because at least I can laugh while I'm doing that.
Really? That's so good.
It is. I cannot be upset no matter what dark thoughts I'm having about the state of the country, about what's going to happen, about anything else. While I am in that world, I'm hanging out with the little story vignettes while I'm with my buddy Jimmy and that amazing popping Steve Lieber art. I can't be in a bad mood. I am always happy when I'm with that story, and so at least for that time, no matter how long I'm in that line, I'm happy while I'm in that book.
I found the book to be like journalism plus Looney Tunes plus DC.
In the same way that All-Star Superman basically is a historical classic look at why is Superman great and why is he important. And it's Grant Morrison basically laying out 12 reasons why. The Who Killed Jimmy Olsen is Matt Fraction saying, guys, we need to be honest here. Silver Age Superman, and specifically Jimmy Olsen, was unhinged. It's crazy. But it was also great. And let's look at this. And you get beautiful moments of Jimmy and Lois and Jimmy and Superman, like especially when you get the end and it's like they're sitting on the building, they're looking out, like it gets at me. All the while previously, it was one of the funniest comics I've ever read. Like it's just everything I want in a comic. And again, that Steve Lieber art is so perfectly suited for it. And as James said, I've been lugging my paperback around forever. I have it in singles. I also bought a second copy about a few weeks back that James actually put me onto, that was signed and remarked by Steve Lieber. And it's coming out with the deluxe edition later this year, and so I'm gonna buy that too. And so that will be one of my most rebought books, because of just like there's never a time where I'm gonna be like, it's a bad idea to buy Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that series is just so brilliant and so well done, and it's fun and intelligent. And I don't know, it was like I just didn't expect it, and then it is just everything I didn't know I wanted it to be. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Like if you told me like, hey, like, because prior to that, like Jimmy Olsen was like a character that like I knew and was around, and like he's in Kirby and he's in the introduction, but he was like, yeah, he's Superman's sidekick. He doesn't have the powers. He's not Lois Lane who has to walk that tightrope of like, like being in a relationship with him and loving the man, but also the Superman. He's just like this, gee willikers, Superman. And it's like, I read that book and I was like, I get Jimmy Olsen now. And I went back and I read everything. And it's like, yeah, Jimmy Olsen's pretty dope.
He is. I am like blown away that Comic Toby pulled a $5,000 Caitlin Clark baseball card. That's never happened to be collecting comics. I mean, the only time it's gonna happen is that you're some weird estate sale and you find a $5,000 book. You know, I mean that's gonna be it. But here I want to know, Alon, as usual, comes with the gems. Ask Bunk about his awesome idea for Nightwing 87.
So Elon, as he has done in the past with pointing out, and not intentionally, but as I mentioned to you before, where I promised the good people, next week I've got a Power Rangers reading order video that a year and a half later I still have not delivered. I mentioned at one point I bought multiple copies of Nightwing 87, which is the continuous issue. So this is from the recent Tom Taylor Bruno Redondo run where everything is one continuous image. I bought multiple copies with the idea that I was going to pull the staples out of each of them, lay them down against each other, put them in some kind of board, and then display them on my wall down here as one continuous image in poster. And I thought that was such a cool idea, and I still do, until after I purchased those issues, and I did the math, and I realized that's over 13 feet long. And then I started thinking about, well, how am I going to display that? How do I get that framed so in a way that it's not just sort of sitting there? And so that issue came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And they're still sitting in my long box, waiting to be
4 years ago, December of 21.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So, so just a scant 3.5 years ago, I have been sitting on my art project that I will be doing at some point. So yeah. Thank you, Alon, for always keeping me honest with the things that I say and never follow through for. Someday I will figure out what I'm doing with those. And maybe I'll just come to a point in my life where I'm comfortable being like, you know what? They're just going to sit in my long box. But I still hold on hope I'm going to actually do the thing I said I was going to do.
I like how it's been well received as a modern comic classic in terms of comic book storytelling innovation. Bravo.
I will say, and I really like that issue, but I think people love that run, and I would include myself as one of them. But I do think at times they were willing to applaud the concept more than the execution. Like that issue is like legitimately very cool. But things like the first person view one where it's like looking from there, it's like one of those they did such a great thing. It's going here. It's like it's a cool idea. Like I don't know. Like,
yeah, but it also gave us Haley, who becomes Bitewing.
That's the run itself. I legitimately think that first. I think it's the first 6 issues. That first trade of Nightwing leaping into the light is like perfect comics. Like when it comes to a superhero comics, like that is everything that you want. Is that first trade, and it never quite hits the level that it does right there, but it's the beautiful combination of Bruno Redondo's art. You get amazing action scenes, you get the heart that you want between the pull of Nightwing trying to figure out what he's doing with his father, Alfred, who left him all this money. How do I work at this, all while not knowing how to fully connect with his other father, Bruce? It's tugging on so many things. It works on, it calls back on the classic Nightwing Year One with a lot of references, but does so in a way that makes it its own thing. It is just about as perfect a modern superhero comic as you're going to get.
Yeah, all this May December fatherhood shit with Bruce and Alfred really does take you away. It's so complicated. I mean, it's not as complicated as it should be or it could be. It always sounds more complicated than it is. That's probably it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Also, I love how it's set up for Dick Grayson to be the rich one in the Bat family because Bruce's money got all tore up.
Yeah, Joker War stuff, all of that.
Yeah. And it's like, oh no, you're not mega rich now.
And the fact that they made it Dick, and he's just like, I don't know how to be so like my favorite part of all of that is like when he's in line at the pizza shop with Barbara, where he like gets that slice, you know, he's just like one slice cheese, and Barbara's like, you know, you're rich, right? Like you can get whatever you want. He's like, good point. 2 slices of cheese, and it's just, you know, this idea that he, you know, he was his own man. Like he grew up around wealth, but like it was never his wealth, and he never internalized that, and he was always striking up to be his own thing. And now that this is thrust upon him, he's like, what do I do? I don't know what to do with any of this. I'll get a second slice of pizza, that's it.
You know, I want to act like that's so great, and it is good writing, okay, but who the fuck paid for Titan's Tower?
I mean, Bruce did, and that's what I'm saying is like,
and what was living in Titan's Tower like?
I mean, I can only assume it was like Teen Titans Go, where
okay,
it was.
Did you see the gymnasium? There's a goddamn super gymnasium. They had a training room.
And he was in the mansion before that. Yeah, again, he has grown up. But that's the thing is I think other people have like, it's comics, so of course like you're never going to get that direct thing. But I think he's been around other people with money who have sort of provided for him. He's never been the one who's been in charge of any of that stuff. So the second that he's the one who's like, oh, I can make these choices for myself, it's like, you know, hey, Batman, I'm going to continue my war on crime and I need these things. Oh, I would love to help you with your war on crime. Let me get you your own Bat Gymnasium. Like
that was very Lego Batman, and I appreciate you.
That is one of my favorite depictions of the character. We watch that all the time, and we do. I do love that Patrick's jump in the dark of the night. Bow bow. That Batman sign. Then especially like we all yell when he goes, "Who always pays his taxes? Not Batman." And I always make sure I hit the "Who never skips legs day." Because you never skip leg day. You never do it. You hate it. You hate doing it, but you never skip it.
I never understood people with such commitment to the gym, but leg day bothers them. It was always weird for me, you know? And then when I would see those guys with big upper bodies and skinny ass legs, I'm like, what are you doing? You're doing nothing here. Work that goddamn shit. Get the whole fucking thing. If you're going to be here, do the whole goddamn thing. Do the whole thing.
It may just be that they were internet streamers where the internet at large only sees this much of them. And so they were like, listen, like, I don't need to work that out.
I'm talking early 2000s, before all this bullshit.
You don't know their life. You don't know what they were doing.
I don't know their life, but my personal trainer would tell me, like, hey, you know, leg day can be a lot for you. And they're like, hey. And I'm like, how dare you? Mike is a legend. May he rest in peace. I'm like, he's a legend.
Yeah, it's... I would say like it is the least fun day, and also partly because like legs day is because you always use your legs. You're always like doing stuff that like when other parts of your body feel sore, it's like, ooh, I feel good, like I feel accomplished, but it's not like impeding your thing. When your legs feel sore, you're like, oh, walking is such a chore. Oh, I hate that. Or like back, like when you're doing like back stuff, it's like sitting is the worst.
All right, I'll give it to you, but I just hate the whole experience. I'm like, well, if I'm already miserable, who cares? Right? You know?
I personally, I find it fun. Like, I enjoy it. That's my me time. That's my time away from the world where I like get to have my own time. And like, you know, it's the same way that I love the burn of spicy food. Like I love, you know, like that other burn, like it's a pleasurable sensation that like comes with that. It's not like for everything except for legs. Yes,
I have that issue too.
Yep. I know what you're saying. Yep, I knew as soon as that left my mouth, I was like, yep, I'm just gonna go ahead and just move on, and we're not acknowledging that. Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to, but it's okay. Listen, what am I thinking? I am thinking I haven't even done the first segment yet, and we're an hour and 13 minutes in. So let's do whatever this is. I don't know.
Whatever this is. What is this? What are we doing?
Oh.
Yes, I've been waiting for this one. I've been so excited.
Yes. Do it. Yes.
No. Listen, you have put me on this whole week. No, put me on small. Put me on small. Do not expend me. I want to hear your comic of the week first before I go. You have been asking me all the questions. You have been such a gracious host. I want your comic of the week. Then I'll talk about my stupid stuff. But the people here have come for Cliff. They have heard from this guy in a salmon-colored tank top that most of them have never heard about before. Give them Cliff. Give the people Cliff. I'll go second.
You suck. What?
I'm sorry for trying to be a gracious guest.
Oh, are you trying to be gracious? Is that what that is?
Trying to be. Listen, if you don't want to be, I'll do it. You have come on here. You've asked me these questions, which has been so nice.
Right. So I have not been able to pick up new comics.
Okay, then never mind. Okay.
So I'm just gonna say I've been picking up some cheap outsider books, and I was very happy to get this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Mike Barr and Jim Aparo, so you know the art at least is solid. You know,
that's classic Batman run right there.
Right, this isn't Batman though. This is when they went on their own. You know, this is when they got their own title. You know,
yeah.
So there we have it. I just love the dollar bill coin.
That is a great cover.
So there you go. That's gonna be my book of the week because I got nothing else. Nothing else. Your turn. That's your turn.
All right. Now we're putting me here. Okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a cop out here. But hey, nope. I don't want to hear anything from you. Your book of the week was from like 20 years ago.
I don't want to hear shit. I'm the goddamn host. Don't you be flashing.
Mod, can we get Cliff Mike muted? Can we get him muted? This is me time. This is when everybody's here for me. So I'm going to talk first about the nominees I have for book of the week, and then we're going to talk about what actually was book of the week. So, first option is Wolverine number 8 of the new run, legacy numbering 400. So we got big oversized issue, part of the Saladin Ahmed. I'll be honest, I only picked up my books yesterday. I did not get to read the main story. I don't normally pull Wolverine, but I picked this up because I am a absolute mark for Daniel Warren Johnson, and he has, because it's a legacy, they got to do extra. He has a 6-page backup in the back of this. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the actual Daniel Warren Johnson cover, but the backup story is everything you want from a Wolverine story. He doesn't talk much. He does a whole lot of action. He can't find peace. It's great. In 6 pages, Daniel Warren Johnson gives you the Wolverine story you wanted. But this isn't my comic of the week. Jason Aaron, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of my favorite stories right here. I keep trying to get off this title and move to getting this in the trades, and it's so good that I can't do it. I started reading this and I realized I didn't remember the last issue last night, so I reread that one, and then by the time I was getting ready to read this, I was like, I'm going to bed. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is a nominee. It is every week, but I haven't read it yet, so I can't do that. New Gods is about my favorite book that's on shelves right now. I think this is such an amazing team up. What? You said New Gods is so good. Ram V is telling the perfect story of big cosmic mythology mixed with personal stakes. You're getting the family narratives. You're getting the grand things, all the while Evan Cagle is killing it on art. But once again, I only picked this up yesterday, and by the time I got around this is a book you cannot go into where you're half reading it. You have to full pay attention to. But you may wonder, hey, you picked up your books yesterday. Why didn't you read any of this? And the reason is because I got my promo advanced reader copy of Craig Thompson's new book, Ginseng Roots. So one of my favorite comics / graphic novels of all time is Blankets by Craig Thompson. It is a book I will not shut up about, even though that book came out like 25 years ago. Realistically, 20 plus years ago. It is one of the most important books of my life, not just graphic novels, but books. And I routinely go out and yell about it on the internet, and someone from Penguin Random House happened to see that I did that, and so they hooked me up with an advanced reader copy of Ginseng Roots. Also, they thought they were funny, so they also sent me with that a copy, or actual ginseng tea.
I love that. And
I spent last night getting into this, and it felt so much like home. It felt like I was reconnecting with an old friend, and that sounds so sappy because I don't have a personal connection with Craig. I've never met him. I'm gonna meet him at Heroes, and I will have like 30 seconds where I'm gonna be like, oh, "I love your book. I love these things," and he'll be like, "Cool, man. Thanks for being a fan." But it's just, he has such a way of connecting through the page with his experience and letting you in that it's just like, and this is almost written, even though he's written more books since then, as like a sequel to Blankets, because this is his first time he's gone back to his own life and sort of his own sort of history. Carnet de Voyage that he did, it's sort of like, this is the things I did, but this is like his first memoir that he's done since Blankets. I haven't finished this, but my God, it's just like, it's getting me. And like, I think this is probably already my book of the year. I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to wait for other things to go out. I have loved so many other comics, but it's hard for me to think that anything is going to connect with me personally more than this. And the fact that I got this yesterday, and the fact that like Penguin Random, I make myself very hard to find on the internet. Like, I don't want places reaching out and being like, "Hey, you like indie comics? We make this indie comic. Let's send it to you and you can make a video about it." Like, I don't want to do that. I don't have social media outside of Discord, and like, that's not something I publicize. I have an email address associated with this that I don't put on videos. You have to go to the channel link and go into it and find it. Like, I do all of that on purpose, and somehow they found it. They reached out to me and they got me like the book I was most looking forward to this year. And I haven't finished it, but so far it has been everything I wanted to, and it's perfect. I love it. And no matter how good those other issues were, and I'm sure I will love them when I finish them, but I can guarantee you they will not be as meaningful to me as Ginseng Roots.
Well, damn. Thank you. But also, good job that they went out of their way to find you too. That was nice.
I'm saying, like, this is the only time that I've ever had like someone do that, and I do that on purpose. I don't have the BunkmastaB, like, as he exists online. Like, if you are not part of these particular comic niches, like, you basically can't find him, and I do that on purpose. I don't have a Twitter. I don't link anything. I don't want, like, I don't think of myself as a YouTuber. I am a person who puts videos online, but like, I don't want to be contacted. Like, I don't want that someone saying like, "Hey, I'll send you a free copy of my book," and doing this, unless it's Craig goddamn Thompson and somehow Penguin Random House, the biggest book place that should be looking over some guy who on the internet who doesn't do things, like, finds it. So it was super, like, it got to the point where like I actually had to send it to another friend of mine who has a number of like deals with publishers, and I was like, "Can you look at this email real quick? Like, is someone punking me? Does this, like, I see it's at Penguin Random House, which I would think is there, but like, can you just," and he was like, "Nah, man, that looks legit."
Obviously, you have to address Elon's question. How important is Blankets in your comic journey?
So Elon, I believe, already knows. Elon and I go way back. Elon, I guarantee you, has been on at least a few videos since I've yelled about Blankets. So let me put it this way. You remember that first serious relationship I mentioned earlier, where the aunt was like 6'3" and like we would give hugs? That was in high school. Like, I'd had like girlfriends before that, but it's like that middle school girlfriend where it's like, it's not anything. It's just like, oh, we like hang out, we pass notes, and we hold hands or whatever. Like, that was my first like, oh, this is a romantic and physical relationship. And like, I don't live there anymore. As time goes on, you don't see that person. We're still on good terms. We weren't always, but like, we got back to the point we had like a little bit of a dialogue, but like not much. I read Blankets, and Blankets is a book. Have you ever read Blankets? Sorry, that
I am not familiar.
Okay. So blankets. I don't need to get up for this one.
Oh, he doesn't even have to get up.
Don't even need to get up. So blankets is a mostly autobiographical memoir from the author about basically the major relationships of his life growing up, and it's categorized as as a romance because one of the major relationship that's looked at there is the author / the main character Craig and his first serious relationship, his first high school girlfriend Raina, and it's basically how she's the first person that like basically makes him question anything in his life. He grows up in this small town, super religious family, lower middle class, and it's just like he doesn't think there's a life outside of like what is presented to him. And he meets Raina, like he goes to church camp, and basically like Raina's one of the outsiders, and like she basically like teaches him that you don't have to just do these things, and it's so purely captures like that first relationship energy when it's like you and that person, like you've never felt the feelings that you've felt, and it's like your whole world is that person, and all the while it captures like the other relationships around him. And the thing that I think it does so well, in addition to the fact that it's beautifully rendered, it's black and white. Craig Thompson is a master of the pen and ink medium, and just like his brush strokes are perfect, but it masquerades as a romance comic while also being broadly about just all of the most important relationships in someone's life, which include family, your relationship with God, your faith, and all of these things. And it has all of those going on. It's so captivating that when I finished it the first time, I texted my ex, like from high school, who like, again, we're talking years and years past. And I was like, hey, I need you to go find this book. I need you to read it. And I need to talk about this with you. She is not a comic reader. She's not a graphic novel reader. We lived thousands of miles away from each other. And I was just like, I need to talk about this with someone, and I need it to be you. And it's also one of those books that I have read. I don't know how many times I've read it at this point, but every time
did she go through with it? Did she?
She absolutely did.
Understanding, like when she read it, she was like, "Oh my god, this was us."
100%. And it was like one of my favorite comic conversations I ever had was with her about that, because we latched on to different aspects. Whereas like obviously I saw myself in the main character. She saw herself to a certain aspect in the girlfriend that was there, and we talked about like the aspects of our relationship that we hold on to and we still think about as it was depicted there, like what we romanticize about that time in our lives and it was just like this is so perfect a book. And every time I read it, it's also like I pick different things out of it, and there are the different relationships that are in there. I captured that part more. So like when I read this now, like I think fundamentally the most important relationship in this book is not the romantic relationship between Craig and Raina, but the familial relationship between Craig and his little brother Philip. And when I read this, I think about my little sister, and I think about that gap between us and like the years, and it's like how as you go on, at certain times you're so close, and then other things bring you further out, and it's like you drift apart and you almost don't know that person anymore. And it just, welcome to Bunk yelling about blanket stream. I've been Bunk, and blankets is like my favorite book ever.
I'm sorry, Caroline. Hi. Also, Bunk, I mean, I've been caught up in stuff like that, and I've watched series like on Netflix and shit where I'm just like, okay, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm like, why am I crying so hard? And like I'll talk to my therapist about it, and he's like, Cliff, you feel things so deeply, and then you put on this shell to repress them so hard, and you carry that weight around. And he goes, if you watch these series and you read these comics, and it gives a place for your emotions to go and come alive and play. And that's why you're crying all the time. But it's what happens to me.
So I am not shelled in any way. I'm very much like a heart on my sleeve kind of guy, but also I am the biggest
too, but I just keep layering, you know?
Oh yeah, no, there's no layer here. There's like me and there's like there, and it's just like heart sleeve right there. But I am the biggest TV, movie, anything crier you've ever seen. Like it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, Elon, have you heard me talk about Paddington 2? Have you heard me going on it? Were we together? Did we have a moment on this? I can't even remember because I haven't shut up about Paddington 2 for like 2 weeks now. But
and that means if you weren't together with Cliff, you could be. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. Listen. The way he said, "I'm so glad there's an ocean between us." The way he said it, where I felt like I heard him say, "I'm glad there's two oceans between us." Like it hit me so hard in the chest. You know, it was like my first baseball game as a kid, where this ball hit me at 120 miles per hour right in the chest. You know, and then that was it. That was it.
So one of So Craig is going to be at Heroes.
Right. So we're gonna bombard him, right?
Oh, like he's never been bombarded by straight white dudes being like, "Listen, I read your book about first relationships."
We don't know his life. We don't know.
Oh, we do know his life. He puts it in there, and he talks about that.
Right, but do we know that? Well, he talks about people randomly be like, "I loved your work." Is that happened?
I mean, kind of. Let me see where he talks about it in there. But yeah, I'm absolutely going to do that. I'm 100% bringing my copy of Blankets. I'm gonna be like, your book means more to me than you know, and he'd be like, cool, man, thanks. That like means a lot to me. I haven't been hearing that for like 25 years. I'd be like, I connected with my girlfriend over it. It'd be like, so do you want me to sign it, or like what's the next thing we're doing here? Oh, okay, yeah. Now in my 40s, I fear I've swung too far in the opposite direction, more mired in the mud. And so it's like, so it's Craig. I'm so bad at showing panel. Like I never remember. Okay, so there's him over his thing, and it's all these thoughts, negative reviews, online threats, interview misquotes, isolation, digital bootlegs, stalkers, and it just like all of that's coming from the fact that like Blankets is so personal. And I've talked with Zoe Thorogood, who's like, I think the modern Craig Thompson, and it's like a lot of that same thing. It's like when you put yourself out there in a certain way, everyone's going to connect to a certain point, and they're going to come up to you and be like, hey, I read your book and I felt this certain way, so I feel like we're connected, and I'm going to come at you with this emotional energy that you can't match here. And it's just like, it's almost exhausting, like having all these people think they know you all the time. So I'm going to do that to Craig 100%, but I'm at least going to be aware I'm doing that.
You know what? I mean, like, I like to believe that in this human experience, isn't it great for the creator to know that their work could have had such an impact on so many people?
100%. And especially like the fact that, you know, for the most part, like most comic creators that you meet, like they're making comic books. They're not action movie stars. They're not going on tour all over the world, like selling out stadiums. Like they are writing a script or they're drawing pictures. They are like, they don't have a big head about themselves. And it's like, we are the fans who like build them up to be in a certain way. And you meet them and you go out and you just talk to them in like a regular point. And it's like, you know, I've had multiple creator like things, and I've been fortunate that yeah, I know like I certain creators, like I am on a personal relationship where like we are not just like in passing friends, but it's like I have their number, like we'll text, like we are friends. And it's just like they're regular people, like they're not superstars. And it's like you go out, and to your point, in a lot of ways, like they don't they put their work out there, and because like comics is a thing that you take and you absorb on your own, like they don't get to see that. Like a perfect example, I just saw Tyler Boss and Matthew Rosenberg, and their book Four Kids Walk Into a Bank is one of the most emotions of my life. I read that. I did a reading group with that with 2 other friends who were across the country, and one of them had never read indie comics before. He was just a superhero guy. This was his first exposure to indie comics.
Oh my God, what a first exposure.
I'm saying, but it was also the perfect book for him because he grew up with shows like Recess, and like he was able to relate it to these other things that he loved. The other friend of ours, who's like the biggest pusher of indie and small press stuff, is unfortunately no longer with us. And I got to just like, so because of that, like I still, to this day, like that is my favorite reading experience I've ever had. Also because like I can't ever get that back because one of our friends isn't here anymore. And when I saw them, I was like, I don't want to bring the mood too down, but I need to tell you about what this book means to me and what you guys gave to me. And I like went and I told them, and like they were like, for that amount of time, like they were wrapped and they were like, I don't know what to say. Like, thank you for sharing that. And like you could tell they were like legitimately moved to know that like something they had created had like such a profound lasting thing. And then from there we joked around and we did things, and it like the mood wasn't just like, hey guys, my friend died but we liked your thing, sign my books now. But it was like in that moment it was like we connected, and it was like it was the 3 of us and we were the only people there for that particular moment. And it's like comics, I think as a medium, are so special in that way, where it's like, because it is so niche, like we absorb these things, we have this relationship, but also like, yeah, I don't know. I'm a silly man. I say silly things.
No, what are you talking about? And also, there is a way for you to tell that story to these folks, right? And be like, look, at this time I had these friends, blah blah blah, and we lost one of them, and I'm never gonna have an experience like that again. But I want you to know that you gave me this one unique experience. And
that's what I'm saying is like I told them that, and like they were wrapped in that. Like they were like, I could tell like they were not just like putting on it, like they were like, wow. I like it was like they didn't. Everyone loves that book. Like they have heard a million times before how much they love that, but it was like you could tell that like they, as that was all happening, like it meant something for them to know that that book meant so much to me, and the other 2 people, now just 1 person that were there.
And that's such a heavy book, and like, anyhow, it's a deep ass book. Freaking 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. And the thing is like the title feels lighthearted.
It is a lighthearted book. It is until it's not. Yeah. There are times where I know you're a little bit older. Do you remember the show, the cartoon Recess on ABC?
Yes.
Okay. In a lot of ways, it feels like the main character in that is Spinelli, and she's organizing the kids from there to go off, and it's like, it's so that like that young kid energy where they think they understand the rules, but like there are so many fundamental things that they're missing, and they just can't do it, and it creates such a light and fun situation until shit gets super serious, and it isn't. In a similar vein, one of my favorite prose novels of the last few years is this book called Gin Patrol on the Purple Line, and it's a book that's all about child kidnappings in India at a time Yeah, no, super fun topic. And most of what it's about is basically the erasure of non-Hindu culture during the time of Modi, at a time that Hindu nationalism is rising, and especially in some of the more remote areas, which is maybe not unique to India. I don't know. Maybe that's something that we could see in other parts of the world. But it's written by an Indian author, and it's talking about sort of like this idea that as things are going on, and these children are disappearing, classically the outsiders of society are blamed for these child abductions, and it's this super serious topic, and it is this horrifying thing. But the narrator in that is this like 6-year-old kid, and as he's going through all of that, and he's understanding his parents being freaked out of their mind, and like trying to figure out, do they stay in this place or do they move? And they don't have much money, so if they move, how do they do so? He thinks, like, basically he thinks it's a Scooby-Doo mystery, to the point where he finds a dog while he's working his like very like low wage job, where he's like washing chai cups at a stall, and he thinks that this dog is going to help him solve these mysteries. And it's like all of these very adult and serious things are happening around him, but it's told from the viewpoint of a child. And so it's funny because it's going from there, but it's also so completely serious that it hits that perfect balance where, like, on its own, one side of it would be like way too much. It is a masterful book. I suggest it to everyone. Gin Patrol and the Purple Line.
I love the indie books you're bringing up. I really do, because like, wow, I was like, never gave that a thought.
That's kind of my niche. As much as anyone knows me, it is for my love of, like, the non-superhero books. What's funny is, like, over here, like, these are all like Marvel Omnibus and whatnot. It's like what I grew up with. I still read all of those, but as much as I have a reputation online, it's as like either the Power Rangers guy or as like the indie comics guy.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Listen, those are books that I love, and I love that anyone knows me online at all.
I also have that warm feeling as well. It's really nice. And by the way, part of why I own this is because the guy recognized me and took $150 off the price for me.
Nice.
That's like one of like the best things ever. Oh my God.
Listen, if I ever see you out in public and I'm trying to sell you something, I will knock $150 off the price tag as well.
I knew I liked you for more than just the delts. Perry's in the house. What are you doing here, Perry? My goodness.
What's Perry's deal? What is Perry normally doing at 10:47 Eastern time? I don't
know. Have you seen his channel? It's one reaction video after another. This guy, and he's got multiple channels, and they keep exploding because he's never seen anything. He was just too busy. He was just too busy living his damn life and having kids and shit. And now he's young in his early 30s, and is like, I never watched these movies. Let's find out what's going on. I've never seen Batman the Animated Series before. Look, currently playing Pokemon. The world is his.
Perry. What Pokemon are you playing? Are we talking the mainline series? Are we talking the spin-offs? Are you doing a Nuzlocke? Perry, I'm gonna need to know more. I need you to hit me up. If you're doing a regular run in one of the mainline ones, I need to know who's your starter. I need to know everything about that. Oh, never mind. Get out of here, Perry.
Look at this, though.
I mean, I loved hearing the my life in 35. I'm kind of jealous. Like, I'm not in the chat right now, and I'm not typing in because, like, I want to hear the Cliff embellish my own life. which I feel like after this stream you could do. Like prior to this, I don't think it we had that familiarity that we could do that. But
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I feel like after like 3 streams, of this, like we can get there and we can do that. Like I feel like we're going deep on this one, and I want to just keep getting deeper. I'm loving this right here.
I love the deepness. I love getting it deep.
Oh, I know you do. That was
baby.
So if I can go deep for a second here. So I found you. I know you'll let me go deep. I found out about you as I think anyone who recognizes me here probably knows when you were on OmniDog Just Brag's stream. The day that you were on that, I had we had a kid's birthday party in the afternoon when you were on, and then later that night we had like an adult party. So I had very little time. And it was just like, as I was driving to that party, I saw that Jess was live, and I was like, yeah, I'll listen to what's going on here. And I was so captivated by you that for the 20 minutes I was on there, I was like, I need to hear the rest of this. So after the fact, I went back and I listened to the part before that, and I listened to the part after that. And it was like, this is a dude who knows comics, who's funny, who's willing to get in the weeds, but also is willing to go deep. And like, I have never seen Jess feel on camera like he did when you did that tarot reading and talked about his insecurities about travel and sort of like how he can address that. And I was just like, damn. So when I was just like, and I will completely, like, the audience was enraptured by you. Like, we were all talking about our because again, like most of Jess's guests tend to be a little bit more like normal bunk, where you get a little bit more of the NPR effect, where we're going to go in and talk about what comics mean to us, as opposed to the completely unhinged and just to the point energy that you were kind of bringing to that. And it just like, when you looked up my channel and saw that, I will say pretty privilege was in effect there, because you reached out to me and you were like, hey, glad we connected. Maybe we should do a stream sometime. And I was like, yep, I want that energy in my life.
You want to know what's really funny is, I don't know, something you said to me in the chat, and then I was like, okay, fine, I'll talk to him. And it wasn't even pretty privilege. I looked at a couple of your videos and I was like, oh, he seems to really like be into this. So yes, he looks like a great candidate for the show.
Be honest, it was these blue eyes, and it was the fact that I was wearing a blue tank top.
No, it was really the delts and the blue eyes. But listen, I hate to tell you, like, you were in the mix, but like Alon is up here in the mix, and then like you were like here.
I am completely fine with that. Elon is a wonderful human being. Alon reaches out. Alon goes, I'm very like reactive. Like, I'm never proactive about things. Alon takes the like extra level. Alon goes out of his way to like make sure that like, hey, I heard you mention this thing. I think you might like this. I think you might like these things. Like me, I'm just kind of like in the moment. Like, I'll tell you that thing. I'm never remembering it after the fact. So I'm with you on Alon.
So someone mentioned in the chat earlier if you were going to get a tarot card reading tonight. So do you want one?
I love tarot, but the thing is, like, I'm pretty content in my life, and I don't know like what I would be asking about. Obviously, classically, it's like romance. I'm married, and like I have I'm very solid with my wife. Like the thing that I'm like most.
What's in store for your 2025?
You know what? Like, yeah, that's something like that. I'm super cool with. Like, I don't want a topic, but just like broadly. You know what? We're going to go more narrow. How is my trip to Charlotte for Heroes going to go in June? I would love to hear about that.
Okay. Oh my God, Bunk. I forgot what your real name is. Is it Brad?
It's not Brad. It's Ben.
Ben, that's it. Big Ben. That's it.
Me.
Don't forget that shit, Cliff. Big Bang. Just like Beer Can Eddie.
Not surprisingly, that has been a nickname for much of my life.
Right on.
While you're doing this, I'm kind of just vibing to these beats that you got going on here.
I'm so glad. It's like one of my favorite generics that don't get me in trouble with algorithms.
By the way, Elon, it's like the tower, not the clock.
Like the tower. All right, so we're going to do 3 cards, right?
Flip them over.
And the first card is going to be about the energy going into the situation that you're going to take with you on the trip. The second is going to be about your experience. And the third will be what outcome you have from this trip. So that's how we're going to do it.
I'm excited.
All
Lay
right.
it on me.
Tell me. Oh, I was going to say tell me when, but I guess when is now.
Wait, now.
All right, that was the last shuffle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't cut the deck myself, but I'll do that there. Toby, I also never miss an episode of Cliff.
Thank you, Toby.
At least solo Cliff. I'll be honest, when you talk about movies aren't really my thing. I skip over on those, but when you're talking comics, when you're doing that, when you got a creator on, I'm there.
Love that. All right, the energy going in. This is the Knight of Wands. Look, it's Jack Knight Starman. The Knight of Wands is all about adventure, excitement, and bold energy. This suggests that you are heading into Heroes Con fired up, maybe looking forward to it for a long while now, and you're ready to dive in head first. It's almost like you have a sense of urgency, like you don't want to miss a single moment. There's passion and drive, and you may even have a particular mission. Whether it's meeting creators or collecting something specific or just soaking in every bit of the experience. This card is a go for it, which means that this trip is coming at the perfect time for you to have a break from your routine and chase something down that you've been craving, whether it be inspiration, connection, or just plain fun.
So I was supposed to be going to Heroes last year, and I had arranged for an internet friend to split the cost. We were going to share a hotel room, and like a month before we were going to go, he told me, "Hey, my wife got laid off from her job. I can't make it. I'm so sorry." And when I was looking at what the cost that would mean for me on my own, I was like, I can't justify this. I can afford it. I can't justify it. And so I was like, I'm going to cancel it. So like I had told people I was planning on going last year, and I ended up having to cancel. This year, I did due diligence planning, so it was like, I'm going to just go. I'm not relying on anyone else. So there definitely is a sense of urgency where I was supposed to go last year. And also, Starman is a very special series to me because it's another one of those where, as I've read it through different times, I've connected to different points. I've read it from the standpoint of being the son, which family is such an important part of that. I've read it from the standpoint of being the dad, as a lot of the stuff I do now, where I am a dad, I've got young kids, and I'm sort of like getting to experience a lot of the things I love through their eyes and getting to share it with them. A lot of series that I read now, I sort of like come onto like not the main character part, but the dad, and it's Starman gives you that experience, and that's Jack Knight is he's a special character for me. James Robinson, if you're watching, love you, buddy.
Well, let me tell you, if you felt something for Starman, you also got the Queen of Wands, represented by Vixen. All right, okay. This is a very powerful follow-up pull. This card is about confidence, charisma, and vibrant energy. So it sounds like your experience at Heroes Con is going to be very empowering. You're going to find yourself surrounded by people who share your passion and you're going to feel in your element. You're going to feel bold. You're going to feel expressive, maybe even magnetic. You're going to be having conversations. You're going to be networking. You're going to be vibing with the crowd in a way that truly makes you feel seen. There's also a creative fire to this card, which might leave you with some new ideas, artistic inspiration, and deeper connection to the things that you love. This card, like walking into a room and owning it, so it looks like Heroes Con is going to be a glow-up moment for you.
So part of, and I wouldn't even say part of, the biggest reason I'm excited for Heroes Con is I love conventions. I love meeting creators and going out and doing that. Like every year, I go down 2 hours south to a convention. I take a weekend to myself just so like I can have that. But the biggest thing for me for Heroes is that a number of my internet comics friends are all going to be there, and this is going to be like our meetup point. So it's going to be Cliff, it's going to be Jess, it's going to be Elon. Oh, Elon, what are you?
It's going to be a cardboard. It's going to be cardboard cutouts.
It's going to be cardboard Bo. It's going to be Omar from Near Mint Condition. It's going to be Josh Greathouse, who's an absolute git, but I kind of like that dude. And then also, it's like that's the basis, and then it's also the things that I'm going there for. So it's going to be meeting Daniel Warren Johnson, who is like my favorite artist and creator in comics right now. It's a chance to hang out with my buddy Ben Templesmith, who I get every anytime he's around anywhere, I go out and I hang out with him. It's going to be a chance to see my buddy Josh Greathouse. Like, it's, for me, it's more than the comics are the bonus. So again, Craig Thompson, I am overjoyed at the chance. I'm going to get a chance to meet him. And for the 30 seconds I have with him or whatever, I'm going to gush. I'm going to lay it on his plate. I'm going to vomit emotions. And he's going to be like, cool, man. Here's a sketch and like whatever in your book. Thanks, man. And I'm going to be like, oh, my name. Because I told it to him. He knows my name. And then like everything else that's happening there. But like for me, the biggest thing is that meeting people and hanging out. So like, hell yeah, I am going to be on that creative energy vixen shit. I am going to be there putting my peacock plumage out. I'm just going to be like, everybody look at me. Look at me. This is Bunk. This is Bunk that you know. I'm so happy to hang out.
Well, if you thought that was exciting, wait for your last card, which is your outcome. It is the world represented by Swamp Thing. This is the card of completion, fulfillment, and wholeness. It's about reaching a point where everything comes together and you feel a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. For you, this suggests that your trip to Heroes Con is going to be more than just an event. It's going to be a milestone. You're going to walk away feeling like you just checked something off personal from your creative bucket list, or perhaps you're going to have a moment where everything just feels like it clicks and a sense of closure or a special chapter finishing. This card also indicates a wider perspective. So it may have you leave the con feeling like you've gained something that shifts your understanding of comics, fandom, and yourself. The potential for growth in ways you didn't expect, and it could be a transformative experience overall. The energy going into this trip is all about bold action and excitement, and Heroes Con itself. The experience is going to be vibrant, confident, and a creative flow. And by the end, it looks like you're going to have a deep sense of completion and fulfillment, as if the trip has really aligned things in your life. It looks like this is going to be a very impactful trip for you.
And what I expect is by the end of it, I will have absorbed myself into the green. This physical husk, as breathtaking as it is, will not exist, and I will simply be an avatar of the green. So Swamp Thing is very appropriate right there. But on all of that is kind of exactly what I'm looking for. Heroes, I'm looking forward to most the people that I'm meeting in sort of the internet relationship stage. And I don't know about you, but over the last however many years, as being sort of a person who is online, like I've cultivated a number of online relationships that are like meaningful to me. And this is the time that like I'm gonna put that physical meat space into it and like get to to meet these people and like share in that. And I'm more than anything else, I'm so excited about that. Like, honestly, the comics are secondary, and which is a crazy thing to say because Heroes is an insane list of some of the people that I love most in comics life. But like, that is in some ways, like, I don't necessarily care about the guest list because I already know it's going to be insane. It's the people who are going to be there with me that I'm just so happy to be there and meet and hang out with and get to like see everything that I've been looking forward to this for so long.
I feel the same way, especially because I've been crapping bricks trying to get it together for HeroesCon this year.
I will say, when you were on Jess's stream and you were like, I got to see if I can save that money. I've cut my poll list down. I've cut ASM because that shit sucks. And I was like, I'm going to Heroes. I wonder if I'll meet this guy when you were talking about that.
Yep. So I already have the Airbnb and the rental car split 3 ways. So, and I have that money set aside. And then, of course, money for the get-together dinner, which you're not on Instagram. So you aren't part of the poll for the get-together dinner, which you should attend.
Listen, if you want to, like, arrange for me to, like, if you want to talk to me in a real space and you know, we can talk about that. But no, as I talked about before, I make BunkmastaB hard to find. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Blue Sky. I'm never going to have those things. Like, you need to be in like a very particular niche in order to like get a hold of me. So listen, we can talk about doing those things.
I'll put you down as my goddamn +1. All right. That's it.
Listen, I would be so happy to be your arm candy. I will go there and
don't worry. You don't even have to be arm candy. I'll have other arm candy, you know, or maybe Jess will make you his +1.
I'm sorry. Are you saying that you've got like arm candier than me?
Yes.
How fucking dare you? You ask me on this, you get this, and then you tell me, oh, listen, you probably won't be the arm candy. You'll come on down.
You can be co-arm candy. I'll accept you as co-arm candy.
Listen, this has been a great stream. Thank you very much. I need to go somewhere else and never be on this show again. And lose my number, Cliff. I'm not your arm candy. How dare you? How dare you?
On the internet. You're invisible on the internet.
My God.
Oh my God.
Elon, can you believe this guy? Can you believe he comes out talking all sweet to you, saying how much he appreciates everything, and then he tells you, maybe that's not what I'm looking for. Then
you're already
the nerve of this guy.
Dude, you keep flashing that damn wedding ring. You know, keep talking about your kids. It's just hard. I can't keep an erection with all that talk. You know, I need single straight boys to keep it all fired up.
Cheers to you on that. You know what? I appreciate you, Cliff.
Although, let me tell you, if I had the money, yes, I'd fly Elon in and be like, that's it. He's my arm candy. And I would just be like, bitch, this is the cost of your HeroesCon weekend. Get it together.
Honestly, Elon would probably love that. I mean, maybe Elon would love being flied in and going to Heroes. I'm not going to say the other part, but
oh my God, look at Elon.
Yeah, Elon 100%. Yeah, in an FMK in a fuck marry kill. I'm the fuck. You're the marry. At just whoever else is added on there is the kill.
Yeah, so. Jess is the kill. So like, and.
But you know, honestly, like I am fine being objectified. Like I am not someone who is above that. So you know what? I'm fine not being married. I'm fine being that be there.
Look at this.
Joel, I love Seattle, and I would love to make it out to the West Coast. Unfortunately, that is not in the cards anytime soon. But I appreciate the hell out of you saying that.
How long until your daughter graduates high school?
We're not going there.
Oh, jeez. All right. So sometime, let's say 8 years. Okay, you don't have to guarantee it.
Nope.
Sometime around.
It's gonna be longer than that. It is.
All right.
My daughter does not go through high school in a long time, so we are not going to go down that when is your daughter legal thing, any of that.
No, we're not doing when is your daughter legal, and when are you free of your child is what I'm trying to say.
Oh no, it's fucking never. I have young kids. I'm
You're trapped. All right, so
yeah, no. It's no. And I have a son and a daughter. My daughter is my older. My son is younger, and I feel like he has some kind of time vortex that's going on, where like he. At this point, I have this conspiracy theory that he is actually like he was born before my daughter, but for whatever reason he like ages way longer. So
girls are always more mature. It's just a thing that keeps happening.
But I just feel like, I mean, yes, but also like my daughter, she's one of those that I look at and it's like, how are you this age? Oh, I can't believe that. And like my son, I'm like, how are you still this age? And like numerically, not developmentally. It's just like, so my daughter is 6. She'll be 7 in June. My son is 3. He'll be 4 in November. So he's like very 3. Like he is solidly 3. And it was just like, I feel like that kid was 2 years old for like 5 years.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. It's brutal what you're saying.
I love him, man, and like he's one of my favorite people in the world. But I'm just like, every time I look at him, it's like, how are you this young? I swear to God, you're supposed to be older than you are.
It happens. It
absolutely does. It absolutely does. But like I said, he is one of my favorite people ever, and just like hot take. I love my kids. I love hanging out with them. But it's just like there are times where I just like look at him and I'm just like, why are you this age? I swear you're supposed to be older.
That is so sweet, though. It really is.
No, it just. Being a parent, like it's like the hardest thing you'll ever do. In some ways, and also in other ways, it's like the easiest job in the world, and it swings either one of those sides, like, and it's never both of those things. It's like either this or it's this, and it like will change second to second. But yeah, I mean, like, especially like I feel like my parents growing up, I feel like they didn't have hobbies. And I don't know about like how you feel about that, but I feel like boomers, like in some ways, like they didn't have hobbies. They felt like we have to be good Americans. We have to be part of the workforce. We have to do these things.
My parents' hobbies were cigarette smoking, playing lottery, my mom playing dominoes.
That shit sounds sick. Like, honestly, like I'm thinking about like going to a domino parlor and like, pulling some butts.
And then hold on, let me think about like what else. But yeah, no, it was hard to see them as people.
Right.
But like, because they're your parents. But it's funny because like after my father died, like is strangely when I just start to see them as people. And more interestingly, when I went to go visit my father's parents, my grandparents, of course, but I went to visit him after he passed. And that's when it dawned on me that I wasn't like looking at these people as people. So like my grandmother pulled out this particular book to show my mom something, but suddenly I was like, what are all these pictures? What are these Revlon? What are these Revlon things, right? So it's like little awards that you would pin on you from makeup companies. So she showed me her 5 pictures of her at her 5 different jobs, right? All sorts of stuff, right? And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know these people. Like they're my grandparents, but I don't know them like as humans. Like, and so it was like really sweet. So I had like a good moment with them. That trip, then I went one more time with my mom. Then the focus of the trip was just to spend every morning with them. Like, we're gonna do the other, like, hang out with family in Canada, but every morning was with them. I wanted stories. I'm gonna shake it out of them before it's too late. So it was really nice. But I'll never forget. So my grandfather, World War II veteran in Canada and stuff, and like, PTSD and all sorts of stuff. So like, sometimes we're sleeping over there and he'd wake up in the middle of the night because he was having freaking night terrors about mustard gas. I'm like, oh shit. And the thing is like he would just actually mention it in the morning and then just proceed like nothing. And everybody was too scared to question it, right? So, but anyhow, so like obviously after my father passed, like I'm older, I'm more of my own person, I'm more like over it, and like I love you, old man, and I respect you, but damn it, I'm not putting up with any bullshit. You're gonna hug me, you know? So like I went in for a hug, and he goes, I used to not do this. And I was like, what changed? He goes, when I had my open heart surgery, part of my physical therapy was hugging. And he's like, so my physical therapist taught me how to hug. And I'm like, this is so beautiful and awkward, and I'm loving every second of this.
So I love all of that, and that reminds me of my maternal grandfather. So I grew up, like I mentioned, in Vermont. Most of my family was somewhere in New England. You know, I feel like most people, like their family is like somewhere near them. And, you know, like we had, it was like throughout, except for my mom's parents were divorced, which is, you know, a little bit weird. You don't typically see that much divorce in, like, you know, that older generation.
Right.
My grandmother lived in Maine, and we used to go see her. And my grandfather lived in Chicago, and we didn't really ever see him. And we didn't really ever know him. And it was kind of like we knew of him. Every so often he'd like send something in, but he had a very separate life. And it was like maybe like once every 5 years, he'd fly out east. And it was like we would go to meet him, and it was like we would meet him, and then like my cousins from Maine would go and meet him. And you know, when you're a kid, you don't really like get to know someone. Like you have this idea of them, but especially like if they're not there all the time, like it kind of feels like they're an outsider.
Yes.
And so that was my feeling with my grandpa Bob, until I mentioned when I was in like the late 2000s, and I was in this period of my life where I was like moving every like month to two and like going out to different places. And I was just like, I want to see what's here. Like, I don't want to be in Vermont. I wanted to like just see what's out there. And at a period of time where I was in Detroit, and I knew my grandfather lived in Chicago. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like, I don't know anything about this guy. Like I haven't seen him forever. I'm just gonna reach out to him. And I let him know, hey, I'm here. I've got this time that I'm free. Like, if you're free for any of that time, like, I'd love to see you. And at this point, like, I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. Like, I know that like my mom would send pictures, but like I hadn't seen him, and like it's weird, and I don't know anything about this. And you know, he lets me know, hey, I'd love to see you. You know, you're free this time. Like come on down and we'll do this. So I take a bus, I go down, I go out, and I meet him, and I go to his apartment, and I find out he has a roommate, and it's a man, and we have this delightful weekend all weekend. I find out my grandfather is a ball buster, and he has this dry, sarcastic sense of humor, which I am a ball buster, and I have a dry, sarcastic sense of humor, which has never been on display in my life. And like, so the first night I'm there, he's like, hey, I'm going to get some pizza. And he looks at me, he's like, hey, how many slices do you eat? Which, first off, is nothing I've ever been asked in my life. But this is something that's being asked in my...
It's a great question, because it's a great question.
It is, but it's also like something that it's just like, I've never been asked before. And also, I'm in my early 20s, and again, I'm 6.5 feet tall, and you know, like I'm just like, I don't know, 4 or 5, because I'm thinking like about a standard like pizza, and also I'm fucking ravenous. I eat all the food all the time. And he goes, and he just looks at me, and he just like kind of eyebrows up, and he's like, 4 or 5, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna order a large, and I'm excited to watch you eat those. And I'm like, well, this is weird. And I'm like,
are these king cuts? Were they king cut?
So he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And again, keep in mind we're in Chicago, and so I'm like,
Oh wait, this is
Okay.
Chicago, so this is gonna be weird. Okay.
And then the pizza comes, and it's fucking Chicago deep dish. It's a stuffed pizza, so each slice is like that thick. It's a goddamn casserole. And I get through the first slice, and I'm like, what is this shit? And keep in mind, he never said anything about it being this way. And I get through the first slice, and I get through the second one, and like I get through a piece and a half, and I'm like, oh my god, I've never. For anyone who's listening now who was not familiar with Chicago deep dish, it is basically a goddamn pie. So like you have your crust on the bottom, you have your toppings, and then you have your cheese, and then you have your sauce, and it's like each slice is like that thick. It's not a pizza.
Have yours with the sausage layer or no sausage layer? It was just cheese and horror sauce on top.
No. He did. You know, I can't remember exactly what the topics were, but there was like, you know, there was either there was sausage or there was pepperoni or there was something.
Yeah, but they're buried under the cheese. That's the beauty.
Yeah. No, 100. No, like that's like the thing that's down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So like, and part of that honestly is like what makes it good, because like you cook it and it cooks down so long, so then the fat in the meat that you have there, it renders down into the crust, and then it like almost fries it, so you get like an extra deep crispy crust. And I say this as someone who is now a vegetarian, and like I get jealous of all of that, and I'm like, oh, that's how it tastes good. But yeah, anyway, so I got through a piece and a half of that because again, I had no idea that the pizza my grandfather was ordering was like a goddamn casserole. And as I'm like, I get through my piece and a half and I'm struggling to get through, he just sort of looks over at me. He doesn't go, oh, like, you know, like a normal human wouldn't be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like you probably don't know Chicago pizza. That's my bad. He just looks at me and is like, oh, what happened? I thought you eat 4 or 5. And again, like I'm in like my early 20s, and this is a man I really don't know, and like he's mostly in a recliner. He's just doing this, and his roommate is there with him, and I just like
I love the roommate.
Oh, his roommate is yeah, Uncle Bill, which only after the fact did my mom tell me, by the way, your grandpa Bob's gay. And that's why they got divorced. And then, Uncle Bill is, you know, my whole family thing. But yeah, you know, just like I did not expect ever that like my grandfather would be trolling me. And it's just like I learned so much about myself from meeting my grandfather in a time where I had like the capacity to understand these things. Whereas like as a kid, I'd met him and it was just like, he's this man that you don't know from this place, you don't understand. He just kind of comes in. And it wasn't until, and honestly, like if I hadn't been on my own, I feel like I wouldn't have known that. And it wasn't until I was on my own and I got to be that, it was like, I get you. And by getting you, I get myself better.
I like that. It's so funny because like it's not like there's any one person in my family where I have that with, but it's like the more time I've spent to talk to them and fill in the gaps and stuff, where like I discover more, right? And there's things that, you know, the majority of us can relate to. And oh my God, Brother John's comics. Mwah. Love you, Brother John. And we'll also see you at Heroes Con, baby. Let's make this happen. So he'll be there with his brother, Digger Jim. I can't wait. So yeah, like there's a lot of anxiety in my family.
Wait. Sorry. One sec. Time out. Did you say Digger Jim?
Digger Jim, yes. Because he digs for metal with his metal detector.
Got it. So he's not related to the character in Huckleberry Finn in any way.
Oh, I mean, there could be a play on words there that I haven't been aware of.
I would assume if someone is called Digger Jim, I have to assume that's going there.
I mean, possibly. I guess
it's not. That is such a crazy coincidence that I do not believe in. Brother John Comics, talk to us about your brother. Has he read Huckleberry Finn? Is he going for that? Is that a thing? Also, are we going to see you at Heroes? Because I'm
going to
meet people at Heroes.
There is no connection. His name is Jim. He digs in dirt and long boxes. There you go. There you go.
John, please have your brother read Huckleberry Finn. First off, it's an amazing book. But also, yeah, if he's named Digger Jim, he needs to read that book and just understand.
You know, I feel like a lot of people have read that, and like it probably was just like, you know, something.
He's read it. Okay, all right. John's saying he's read it many times. Okay, all right. As long as he is aware of it, it just like if it's, yeah. As long as he's aware. All right. I'm not going to go any further on that. Thank you, Brother John. I appreciate you.
I mean, Digger Jim is a very important character for growth.
100%. Like, he is, quite frankly, one of the most important characters in American literary history. Like, I'm not being hyperbolic there, but like that is legitimately a thing. I mean, when Huck comes to the realization that he's going to help him, and he says, I guess I'm going to hell. Like, there's a reason that book, despite everything else, is the one that gets fought against. Like, Huckleberry Finn, you know, the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn might get banned from libraries.
Again.
But like Huck Finn, you know, Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer might get banned from library, but like Huck Finn stays. Huck Finn is the one that is like so important to American literary history. And, you know, despite the fact it's like a spin-off of Tom Sawyer, where like Huck Finn is just like the side character on that. Like it's so important. And I would suggest, if anyone hasn't read Huck Finn, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, please go out and read it, understand it, read that line, I guess I'm going to hell, internalize that, feel it in your soul, and live your life through that as a better person.
I mean, there's a reason they're American classics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's reasons that people keep trying to ban them, and it just makes me crazy.
Yeah, and which people are the ones that are trying to ban that? Who's trying to ban it so we don't read those anymore? Which people are those?
Do you want to know what pisses me off?
I would love to know what pisses you off, because I feel like the things that piss you off are similar to what.
No, they are similar to who piss you off. But what really pisses me off is that there's people on, we'll call it both sides of the aisle, who both want to see it banned for different reasons, and it drives me insane. And I'm like, the enemy of my enemy is my enemy. Like, context, mother lovers, context.
So that reminds me of, have you ever seen the show Parks and Recreation?
Of course, I love Parks and Recreation.
Okay. Again, I assume so, but again,
Leslie is like my spirit animal, and so is freaking what's her name? Oh my god, I can't. Why is her name not coming to me?
April Ludgate. If you're talking her,
surprisingly, April took the longest for me to get down with. The longest. Donna is my other spirit.
I was gonna say, because I was thinking of Rashida Jones, and I was like, there is no way that you were gonna say Rashida Jones is your spirit animal. So yeah, no, Retta, absolute. Okay.
Like, what, does that not work for me?
Are you saying that that Rashida Jones, who plays Ann Perkins, is your spirit animal? Because if so, no, Ann Perkins is not your spirit animal.
No, I'm not talking about Rashida. Oh, that's right, she's Rashida. No, I'm talking about. Yeah,
Donna. No. That's what I was saying. Is when you said her, like in my head, it was Ann Perkins, and I was like, I could think of Rashida Jones, and I my mental energy was going to think of what her character name was. I could not remember Retta, and her character of Donna Meagle.
Yes.
All right.
Oh my god, I love her on Good Girls too. Like Jesus.
All of the so anyway, that is a super important show, not just to me but my wife, to the point that we both, in our wedding vows that we wrote, we both put "I love you and I like you," which is a line from that show. And I was going somewhere with this, and then we got off on the tangent about what each character. Quick. What were we talking about before we went on the tangent of who was going on there? Elon, I'm gonna need you to let me know where I went off tangent, because I was going somewhere with that.
Well, you start talking about Parks and Rec. This is gonna go on about Parks and Rec, right? Because we started talking about people on both sides of the aisle banning books.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Yes, that was it. So whenever I think of that, I always think of when Leslie is she officiates the gay penguin marriage.
Yes.
And then she ends up getting like hated by both, and like after she does that, it's like it's a no-win situation where she thinks it was a fun, cute thing to do, and it just so happens that the penguin that she married are gay, and then
she becomes a gay celebrity in town.
And she's, she goes there and she's like, I don't want to take a stand. And then she becomes, like you said, she goes there and she's like, I'm the queen of the gays, and everyone's like, yes, you are. And then the like super uptight like Christian woman comes in and she's just like, oh, well, you can either annul this marriage or I'm gonna launch this this campaign against you. And it's just like the idea that you can be on both sides. It's just like you can't be. You have to pick a side. You have to go ahead and do that. And also just fucking pick a common sense side, because like in this case, like there's an answer. You can be on the right side or you could be on the wrong side, and you can say like, I'm not going to pick a side, but that means you're on the wrong side.
I have to agree. I'm trying to think of an episode of Parks and Rec that like really suits, and I know there is one. I just can't remember what I'm thinking of, but there is. And you came so close to the penguins, where it's like, no, Leslie, you can't marry the penguins because it's wrong. It's unchristian. And it's like, no, you can't marry the penguins because it makes a mockery of gay marriage, like that sort of thing, And Leslie's like, I'm gonna marry the fucking penguins.
Well, but the thing was like, so that was season 2 where Leslie didn't like fully know what her thing was. And like that was an important episode in season 2, because like coming off of season 1, they needed to change the tone, and that was the one where they were like, we're gonna let Leslie actually live according to her morals, because season 1 was like, it only went 6 episodes, and it was like it's almost unrecognizable for what the show became. Like she blackmails a local politician because of
her mother's urging.
Yep.
Right. And the thing is, like, I can deal with that because I really felt season 2 and 3 handled the transition
100%.
And I really, like Leslie stopped being this thing where I need to live up to everything, my mom's standards and everyone's standards, and follow my heart.
Look at Tom. In those first 6 episodes is a fucking unrepentant creep. Whereas in the episodes afterwards, yes, he comes on strong. He's a little bit of a doofus, but it's like he is a like golden-hearted, like well-meaning person who's trying to do his own shit. And it's just like season 1 they put out, and in much in the same way like as The Office, the US Office, they put out, and then they kind of like waited a while and they sanded the hell of those rough edges down, and then they're like, okay, the season really starts at season 2. We had 6 episodes in the first one. Season 2, it's a full season. Yeah, don't even think about that first season. It's not important. Here's where it really starts. And then it's like, my God, this is some of the best TV you're ever going to watch.
You know, have you listened to that podcast of Angela and the actress?
Office Ladies?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I have.
Did you hear? So, have you heard it from the beginning? Did you hear how she? Oh my God, what's her name again? Who played Pam?
Jenna Fisher.
Did you hear Jenna Fisher tell Angela about how all the men went out to dinner after the first shoot, and then she was told by the guy who plays Jim how, like, yeah, like, we had dinner with everybody from, you know, from the UK and everything, and they're like, yeah, you Americans, you gotta lean into Jim and Pam because, like, that's gonna be the thing. So that was how she learned that the Jim and Pam romance was going to be a thing. But do you remember hearing that on the podcast?
I don't. I don't remember that.
It's like episode 1. It's like episode 1, right?
So I listened to that, but that would have been like 5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh my God, was it that long ago?
They've been doing Office, not 5 years. I mean, like,
you're probably right. You're probably right.
It's years ago. It is, at this point, it has been years ago.
Yeah.
But
so, but that stuck with me because, and also, not to mention, the two of them dropped little nuggets of, like, how the women weren't necessarily included, right? But when
Angela talks about how she wasn't added to the credits, like, for the beginning until it was like the second season where she officially got added.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Second season, actually, most of the women don't get added to the credits.
100%. It's, you go through and you do that, and yeah.
So that's number. So that Jenna Fisher's the only one who gets in there, right? So that's one of the early things. Then when they find out about Mindy Kaling gets an interview and talks about how she had to give a presentation to prove herself worthy of getting her Emmy. Right? And the two of them were like, I had no idea about this. Why didn't she tell us? You know, like, the women would have bound together, you know? And, like, I hear stories like that, and it makes my head spin because so many people act like these things don't continue to happen, you know? And whatever, it just upsets me. So, like, let's not talk about that. Let's move on to something really fun.
Before we do that.
Okay.
I need to run upstairs real quick because, unfortunately, I have exhausted my cocktail.
Well, you didn't come to play, did you?
Oh, no. This was half full when I came down here.
Damn. All right. Am I doing too good of a job? Is that what's happening?
So this was half full when I came down. I also brought this large beer plus alcohol when I came down here, and both of them are gone. So I did not anticipate that I would need to refill this. But listen, I'm here for the long time. So I'm going to go refill this. I'll be right back.
Can you do it in 30 seconds?
I can do it in 30 seconds.
All right. And go. Good job. Look at that with the biceps and everything, right?
I will also say, this all we're going off a period where I have not been necessarily the most disciplined through reasons that are not necessarily my own fault, but this is not normally, like, I'm giving you not the best. So a few months from now,
are you giving me 85% maximum bunk? Is that what I'm getting?
I'd say closer to like 75%.
Because you're too hard on yourself. The delts are still in great shape. You're too hard on yourself.
Honestly, I'm gonna demand that we do this again shortly before we do Heroes, where I get a chance to build some things back, and we'll be good to go.
No, we just wait for Heroes, and then you're just part of the montage, and we'll make sure that you're flexing at Heroes.
I mean, we can do that too.
I'll give you something heavy to lift. I am very good at lifting heavy things. Here I thought I was giving you free content. I'll give you a 200-pound omnibus, and you'll be like, "Rrr, rrr."
I will say, like, my hot take is that when people talk about omnibus and they're like, "Oh, you got to have a reading stand or something like that to read it," I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? Like, how are you not just reading this on your lap?"
Listen, some people need it. Some people need it, right? Some of us need proper back support, and like it just needs to happen sometimes.
That is the thing that like routinely surprises. It's like, how do you need this thing to hold it? Like, how can you not just read this in your lap?
Right. For some people, it's heavy, it's clunky. They have multiple kids that are very needy, and like that's an issue. Some people just have a problem with it. And some of
those people who cannot just fold the omnibus in their lap, I would say, please do more squats and then just read it open on your lap. Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, I've never really had a problem reading an omnibus, but it does get a little bit like, awkward for me, but I'm a big dude. So those things happen.
As a fellow big dude, I also don't understand.
I know, but I'm a fatty. I'm a fatty. All right.
Get out of here with that. Stop that shit. Do not talk about my friend Cliff like that.
I am just happy little fatty. I am just happy little fatty.
Not talking about my friend Cliff that way.
Listen, at work, my coworkers do the same.
Bones are for dogs.
And they lose their shit. They're like, no.
Bones are for dogs. Meat is for men. And I say that as someone who is a vegetarian. However, I still hold that adage true.
Yeah, I can't imagine my life as not an omnivore. I can.
Yeah, no. Eat. What I'm saying, like that is to say, like, bones, as in like when you can like see like the bones on a human like going through like that, like bones are for dogs. Like, don't be doing that. Like, you should not be like
not healthy. Like,
no, if you see a human who looks like a stick, I'm sorry. Like, I love you as a person, but that is not something I'm trying to I'm not trying to wedding ring. Never mind. We're not going any further than that. But
God, I know you're not body shaming me. I didn't accuse you of such.
No. I'm saying broadly. I'm just saying like my preferences. Like, I'm just saying like like meat is for men. Like you get something on that frame. So. You get something on that frame, and suddenly it's like, okay, all right, now we're talking. But yeah, bones are for dogs. Sticks, you throw those for dogs. Meat, now there we're talking. So anyway, before I had to run upstairs to go grab the replacement bottle of my cocktail of the night, what is the segment that you're trying to queue up?
Oh, you know damn well that I am.
I would love to. Are we time?
Oh, he's so excited, everybody.
I have been so excited for this whole time.
All right. Shall I go first?
I do not. Again, I have tried to give you the time to go first beforehand, and you go, don't fucking look at me. I don't want to do that shit. So please, I would love for you to go first here.
All right. Here we have from, it's crazy, 1994. I was in high school when I bought this off the rack. 1994.
Yeah, it's only a scant 31 years ago.
I know, and it literally feels like yesterday, but it's actually Comic 700, and I have it in a
9.8. We got a Superman action. Who are the creatives on that?
Stern.
Okay.
Jackson Geis.
Okay.
Kurt Swan. I mean, dude, Kurt Swan was alive for this.
I was gonna say, you say Kurt Swan. I don't need to hear you, and you not Butch Guys, but
yeah, no. Oh, but wait, this is not Butch Guys. Oh, you know what? No, yeah, I was right. It is Jackson Guys.
Interesting. Okay, all right, but yeah, I mean, Kurt Swan. It's like, yeah, no, and anything else, like, it doesn't matter. You say Kurt Swan, it's just like, it's Kurt Swan Superman. Fine, whatever.
Right? Like, treasure, baby. So this is my Bussy Buster because I love. So anyhow, I don't know if I've talked about this, but like, I have my comics and I have my trades and I have my stuff. This is like, this part of collecting is like a trophy system for me. Where like, I just want to know that I have these because they meant something to me in my life, you know? And like, they were the keys that made me, not the toys that made me, the keys that made me.
Honestly, I love the fact that you are defining the keys as opposed to letting the market do that. And you say like, oh, the market says this is an important thing. But for you, you say this issue is so, I love that. I love, and also just like, that's a dope cover.
It is. It's so great. And the fall of Metropolis was a big freaking deal. You know, I was like, damn, we're just destroying Metropolis now. Okay.
But if we just look at like the motif in general, we see the Superman Action Comics. We see that sort of like going up at an angle where we see it's sort of like, you know, the classic thing. It's, you know, sort of going up, and we see the rest of the cover following that motif, where we see everything kind of going up there. We see Superman getting his shit wrecked going up along that. We see what I assume is Lois Lane panicking in the front, and just like. And all of that, you know, again, we have almost like a focal point to destruction over here.
Yes.
And then we have
look
characters in front over here. Yeah. And all of that, it's just like, if I have never seen that before and I'm looking at that, like, what the fuck is happening to Superman? I don't know, but I want to find out, and I want to buy that issue. And that makes that a good cover.
Yep. I mean, look at this. Bring home Batman Mask of the Phantasm on VHS.
For 1996? How could I say no?
Yep. With this free comic book. That's probably worth a fortune now.
Probably, because nobody called that number and did that.
No, this was available in stores. So you had a chance. You had a chance. So,
but yeah, it's now on video.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So like, obviously, my keys are keys, right? But they're key to me for my reasons,
which I think is the most important thing. Like, I don't ever want to judge anyone's collection, but when someone like shows something that has no connection to them, but it's like, this is something I bought because it's something that like people are going for. It's like, I mean, that's fine. And like, good for you for having that. But it's like, you just like heard something that other people said was something and you just like followed them. To your point, like, that issue meant something to you and you followed up and you found it in like that best, you know, that 9.8. That's amazing. Like, that's what I love about comic collecting.
And let me tell you something. So X-Men number 4 here.
Oh, are you an X-Men fan?
We established that. But this is the issue that I picked up off the rack just over 32 years ago. It is from my collection. It has survived moving in four different homes, from attics, basements, and garages. And I sent it in for double signature, and it came back a 9.4. And I pulled that comic off the rack in my youth.
That's awesome. Yeah, I I can't say that even if I still had the stuff, all of the comics I read in my youth, they're all in Vermont somewhere that we have no idea where. But even if we did, like, I remember outside of that Captain America by Mark Waid, the only other comic I remember outside of like random Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issues was one of the Pizza Hut X-Men comics. And I remember I read that so much that it came off the staples and it just became loose pages. And like, you know, just I read that like a kid reads something, like it's printed for it. So the idea that that's your original one that you got as a kid and it's still a 9.4 is insane to me, because like if I knew, I'm sure that my Captain America number 8 still exists somewhere in Vermont. I just don't know where it is because my parents have, you know, turned my room into an exercise room and they moved everything there, which again, it's their house. It's completely their right. But wherever that is, it is not in 9.4 condition.
I got to anyhow. It's so funny because when I saw the signing coming up, I was like, let me go through my own collection and just, you know, see what's up. And I was like, yep, this is the one. This is the one I want to send in.
Yep. No, that's awesome. And again, I love as you're displaying that, it's something that's so personal to you, because again, I think comics at their, like, when comics are most important, it's because it has that personal connection to you. Like, there are some people who collect because of the value and they're playing the, you know, the gambling game. I think this is going to go here. I think this is going to happen. Like, that's fine. I think you should probably be like investing in the stock market instead if you're trying to play that where it's like emotional. But if you think that this is a better thing to do, I'm not judging you for it. But from just a general standpoint where it's like, no matter what happens to the quote unquote financial value of that comic, it's always going to carry that emotional value for you, where you know this is a comic you grew up with, you sent it into CGC, the people that made that you care so much about, that thing that you love, they put their mark on, and now you have that. I don't care what the market says about that. Like, no matter what happens, that is always going to be a thing that you care about, and I think that is beautiful.
And I gotta tell you, because it came back a 9.4, I'll probably, and not anytime in this decade minimum, I'll never see the value I put into it.
Right.
You know? But I don't care because it's for me.
Right.
And
that's also one of the things that I think is crazy about the comics market. It's like, unless it's, you know, outside of like classic comics, like anything short of a 9.8, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like, do you realize, again, to your point, this was a comic you owned as a kid and you had all this time, and it's a 9.4, which is a goddamn revelation. But like, oh, it's not a 9.8 on a comic that came out past 1980 or whatever. It's like, well, I know, like, fuck all of that. That is a goddamn celebration. Good for you for keeping that there. And like anyone who tries to tell you, oh, it's a 9.4 instead of a 9.8, get that. No.
And listen, and I have enough, what do you call it? Wherewithal? Man, I have enough wherewithal where I'm like, no, fuck that noise.
Yeah. 100%. No, and I would say stick with that, because again, like, that is, you got to enjoy that as a kid, and also in your enjoyment, like, you kept that in such a condition that is still fantastic as an adult. And anyone who tells you, oh, a 9.4, well, it's not quite a 9.8, so...
Yeah, and I'm like, bitch, could you do this? Could you hold on to this for 32 years?
100%. Yep. So, hey, cheers to you. Cheers to that 9.4.
Cheers, sir. Cheers.
Are we doing crack into the face? Yeah, we are. Oh, we getting Cliff in his natural element tonight.
We've done it a few times.
Oh, I know we have, but I was just trying to see when, if we were going to continue to go that way.
We were. Now you're Bussy Busters, sir, after we went through this whole thing.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate all of that. So I was going to do kind of a setup here beforehand, but I don't think I need to. I believe it has been established that I've been a bit of a Power Rangers fan. People know me a little bit as that. I'm someone that grew up with the original series, Mighty Morphin. I could continue to go on about my accolades as a fan of the original, including the fact that my last pair of sort of character pajamas that I ever owned was when I was in 5th grade, when I owned a pair of Power Rangers, specifically like Jason Red Ranger pajamas, when I had felt like I had mostly grown out of it, and then I found them somewhere while like we were out at like an Ames or Kmart, and I was like, I need these things, and I had to keep them hidden from my friends because I was so embarrassed that I was still into Power Rangers while I was at an age that it was the most embarrassing thing to do.
It's like you were still in 5th grade.
I was, but like, I mean, that's almost middle school, and like, no one will ever be as mean to you as they are in middle school. Like,
it's true. No, I hear you. Middle
school is the worst time that any human will ever go through in their life objectively. Like, on an individual
high
basis,
school was awfully special.
Individual basis, like you will see things happen there, but it's just like middle school. It's like if you look at just like what humans go through as they're changing, as things are happening, it's just like those 7th and 8th grade years are special. And if you can get through those, you can get through anything. But anyway,
I mean, I'm still here. I don't know. Some days I don't know how I made it, but I'm still here.
We appreciate that you are. But anyway, there was a long period of my life where I had to hide, and I was ashamed of my Power Rangers fandom. And it wasn't until I got older in my life where I was like, you know what? Power Rangers is still going on. I love Power Rangers. Like, I'm a grown-ass adult. Like, I don't need to pretend that I don't like this. And I was almost, like, empowered. I do not even want to, for a second, pretend that it was similar to you finding your identity as a gay man. But there was a similar like point to where it's like I accepted that about myself, and I was like, I'm going to like put this out as something that I am as a Power Rangers fan, as opposed to sort of like being it and hiding it. And it's a big deal for me. It's something I love. It's something that I share like with my kids and my family. And my Bussy, not my Bussy, as Cliff thinks I call it, Buster, is a book that I have owned now, and for almost a year, I've had in packaging, and I have been scared to open. And while we were just talking, I opened it.
Dang it.
This has been sitting in my basement for like a goddamn year, and I have finally done it. So, yeah, I'm not going to give it to you yet. Hey, so Cliff, remember when you were on OmniDog's show and you were showing off some of the things that you had, those covers, and you were saying, like, this is a 1 of 50, here's a 1 of 100, and I sent these offers and things like that. Do you remember that?
There's only 2 that I would talk that way about, and they're Radiant Black and Rogue Sun.
This was a Doctor Strange cover, and you talked about, I believe it was a 1 of 100.
Okay,
and
no, right. So no, but you don't. So, okay, so those are variant version covers of an issue of Gods, and yep. I could not believe how easy it was to purchase it because no one cared, and they're gorgeous covers, you know. And I basically got them. I got these 1 of 100s for like pennies on the dollar.
Right. Which is amazing.
Yes,
but absolutely. You know what's a sort of harder to find than a 1 in 100 on a series that nobody cares about?
A good dick.
That too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But something I'm looking for.
Right.
Because I'll let those good dicks like exist out in the wild. I'm happy they exist. I'm just not personally looking for them.
You can
like,
you can feel free to like position them towards me or say that I'm up for grabs. You know, let them know that if they need to use somebody like a colander, that I am available.
Cliff, I assure you, the next time I find out that there is a 7+ good dick that's up for grabs, that is looking for a home, I will point them your way. But in the meantime,
what were you looking for, baby?
I was looking for a 1 in 200.
Oh, damn.
And this was a 1 in 200 of my favorite comic team series of all time, which is the Boom Studios Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Kyle Higgins. And Joel, I will also send them your way if I happen to find them. I'll link your channel, and I'll link Cliff's, and I'll let everybody kind of figure out what they're looking for. So I don't know. That's not on me.
That's all you need. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. All right. So you're looking for a 1 in 200.
I'm looking for a 1 in 200 on issue 1. It is by Paul Pope, who is an artist I love. If anyone is familiar with Batman Year 100 or Battling Boy, classic artist. After years and years and years of looking, where this particular 1 in 200 is going for like $300+. I got it. Ooh. This is the 1 in 200 of Power Rangers #1 gold foil virgin variant that I have been. This is again the book I have been looking for so much that I have been afraid to open.
Sorry,
I haven't had.
This has earned a moment of sexy time. Beautiful. You need the feathers to sell the effect, man.
If I do that down here, I have to clean up the feathers. I
understand. When we're in North Carolina, I will do it.
But anyway,
that gold foil on white is so beautiful.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I believe one of the other things that you had to do, you mentioned is some other things to show off, and I may have some other things in that same category that I would like to show off.
Is this regular show and tell, or are we getting into the 5-finger shuffle?
I was thinking it was 5-finger shuffle, so I can delay that.
No, wait. We got to change segments. Damn, my whole desk vibrated. Shit. Woo!
So I'm going to cheat, because tonight is all about Bunk flexing on them. So we're not just showing 5 individual. We're going to do 5 sets of my favorite things. So I talked about how this was my Bussy. I'm sorry, my Bussy, because I am a straight guy, and clearly I don't know how to pronounce boy pussy.
Of course.
So to continue with that, we are going to just be showing off categories of Power Rangers covers, because I am a stupid human being who tries to collect every single of the Kyle Higgins Boom Power Rangers Studio cover that I think is cool, which means I had to track down this, which is again a gold.
Oh, it's Goldar. Oh, I love it.
It's Goldar.
It's the other half, isn't it? Oh, they all come together. Ah!
We have the Dragon Zord. And we have and lastly we have King Sphinx.
Because of course he has to be there.
This one was done by Paul Pope, amazing comic artist. These are all done by David Rubin, who is one
But
of
they
my.
connect. But they all connect. So do you think like one dude did all like the rubble and then like they all went to town with their own art?
I assume that. I mean, Paul Pope didn't connect anything.
No, but I mean, it looks like it's supposed to connect to the others.
These do not connect to the Paul Pope, but David Rubin
Definitely connected them.
He did all of those. David Rubin, for those that are not familiar with him, he did the comic series with Jeff Lemire and oh my gosh, Matt Kint. I don't know why I forgot that for a second. Cosmic Detective. He was the one who did the artist on that. He also did the series Ether with Matt Kint. I love his art. He is one of my absolute favorites. He did never do interiors on Power Rangers, but he did all of these. And this completes the series of the gold foil on white series of Power Rangers covers. So we had Paul Pope do this one Megazord cover, and then we had these three go for these. I had these for years, and I was looking for a decent price on this, and I finally found it.
For less than $250.
I had that when I finally found a price I was comfortable with. I bought it, and I was afraid to open it. So if I had opened this and it was like Batman 88, I would have no recourse because it would have been a year. And so just like there was a sense of relief when I opened this and I was like, this is what I was looking for. So this is also my Bussy Buster, and this is also part one of my 5-finger shuffle.
Okay, this is an acceptable cheat.
So next up, the theme here we're doing is Bunk like himself some Power Rangers. So next up, we're going to be looking at the Montez Power Rangers.
Wow. Oh, I know these. I accidentally have a couple of them.
Yep. So this was when Boom launched the Power Rangers series. They did this with David Montez's images here. With they hadn't started anything else, but he did these, and they were like, "That's what we're going for. We want our new Power Rangers series to seem like it's like a sexy sports car, where it's like they're holding that, and it's chrome, and it's sleek, and it's fast, and it's sexy." And so these covers became like a big deal for the series because this was like the tone that launched the series. So it's so weird. I almost had them all, but not because I was seeking them out, but they were just like coming to me, and I was like, oh, these are just keep showing up in things that I buy. Yeah, I just always kept buying them too, and I wasn't trying to. That's crazy. I don't know how it happened.
No, like I would get like mystery boxes, and the only one that I bought on purpose was the Pink Ranger one.
I mean, as soon as I saw the Goni Montez and I saw that all that, I was like, nope, I need to have all of it. Like, this looks so fucking cool. Next up, you have so. We'll see if I can hold all of these together. No, that one goes here.
No, there we go. We're almost there. It's almost happening. You can do it.
Put my back into it. I
can
do it.
All right.
My ass into it. So this is the Every Ranger Ever series.
Even the Renegade Pink Rangers up in there. I love it.
So this is right here. This is a series across 4 comics with 2 of the covers being the Mighty Morphin and the Power Rangers issue number 1, which there are a million of. Those were 1 in 10s. So there's a million of those. But then the secondary ones were impossible to find because everyone has forever issues 1. And then once you get to issue 2, it goes way, way down and it becomes really, really hard to find. So these right here are Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers number 1, and then Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers number 2 each. And the Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers number 1, super easy to find. And the number 2s are super hard to find.
You're like, these bastards.
They are super, super hard to find. But why these are important, besides the fact, because this is between the 4 of these, it's every single Power Ranger that has existed in every franchise. Cliff, let me ask. I know you are someone that enjoys themselves some Power Rangers. Do you know who the artist is on these offhand?
I don't. Is it Dan Mora?
It is Dan Mora.
Yeah, I love me some Dan Mora.
Everybody loves themselves some Dan Mora, who also has a history with the series because he was the first ever artist on the sister series, Go-Go Power Rangers. So he was no longer doing interiors, but when they relaunched, he did these amazing series. It was
freaking great.
100%. All right. So we
love you, Dan Mora. We love you.
We love you, Dan Mora. Dan Mora, we love you. We'll never put a tariff on you. You're the best until we realize that you are not from here originally, in which case we're going to do things to you because now we have very strong feelings about people who aren't from America.
All right, we gotta rein it in. I'm trying.
What are we talking about? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
Oh my God!
We love Dan Mora.
Do you have any of the Jamal Campbell covers of Power Rangers?
Oh, of course. He was the cover A.
That's not exciting. I just remember that he has some that are beautiful.
Oh, you mean like this cover A, which is signed by Kyle Higgins?
Oh my God, that is like one that yes, I love that one.
Don't worry. We're talking about signatures in a little bit here.
Signatures.
Next up, this is This may be the hardest I have looked for a particular set of comics outside of maybe my initial search for the question. When pre-internet everything was available, it was hard to find things, and that was the Peach Momoko, Mighty Morphin, and Power Ranger covers. So for those that don't know, Power Rangers went through issue 1 through 55 as a comic called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. After issue 55, they split into 2 series. There was one that was called Mighty Morphin, and there was one that was called Power Rangers. And it continued that way up until basically, if you counted them consecutively, it would have got to issue 100, where issue 100 became back Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 100. During that time that they split, Peach Momoko did some exclusive variants, and they look incredible. And I would say this is my favorite set of covers outside of that gold, the gold gloss on white that we saw before. And she did 4 for Mighty Morphin. She did 4 for Power Rangers. So we have, starting with Power Rangers, we have Jason as the Omega Ranger. We have, if we're sticking with Power Rangers, issue 2, we have Trini
Oh my god, with the foil is so great.
The foil, this actually was a Frank's Comics. So this is not a traditional. This was a Frank's Comics exclusive. So I had to reach out to this comic shop that got the exclusive right to do the foil down in like North Carolina and get that. We have the Lord Draken Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And then we have, I did this a little out of order. We have the Zack Black Ranger Power Rangers. So this basically is covering all of the Omega Rangers that we have there. I don't want to go.
By the way, this is peak quality peach.
Oh, this is. Yeah. I mean, like, again, you look at this. It's these amazing watercolors. Like, look at this. Look at this.
Like, this is.
You haven't seen this.
This is not. I've been contracted to do 80 covers this month, peach. This is like, I'm putting the love in.
We have. I mean, just you look at this. We have the human face / we have here. She is also drawn out. She had to have drawn out that face and then like taken off that part and ripped it up and said, okay, we're going to do that there. And like, look at that.
Incredible.
Then we can't. And then, of course, we also have our Mighty Morphin covers, which cover the characters who are not in space, who are here on Earth. So we have our 1 in 50 for Mighty Morphin number 2 with the Tommy White Ranger. We have our Mighty Morphin number 4 with Kimberly.
Love it.
We have our Mighty Morphin number 6. Believe it or not, this was the last one I was able to find. It took me so long to find this issue. I don't know why, because...
I know why.
Why do you know?
Because he was the least printed, because he's the gay one.
I mean, but also, this is Mighty Morphin number 8. This was the replacement Red Ranger. You wouldn't think that there are more people who came onto the series for number 8 who said, oh, I want that second Red Ranger, than they said, I want the gay Blue Ranger. But for whatever reason, it was easier to find that. But we're almost done. We're almost done. So again, we showed off the Kyle Higgins signature.
The Peach Momoko Blue Ranger, which issue is that?
Peach Momoko, I believe, is Mighty Morphin number 6. Yeah, Mighty Morphin number 6. I believe it's a 1 in 25.
Oh, so great. Even worse with it being a 1 in 25.
Well, all of these are ratios. These are all ratios, so they're all tough to find.
Oh, I know, but you know, him being quite tough is interesting.
So, anyway, I'm almost done with my 5-finger fury. I showed before the Kyle Higgins issue number 1 signature. When I really knew, when I was like, this is a guy I want to talk to, and this is a guy I think I'm going to be friends with. Cliff, I'll be honest. Like, before we started doing it, I was just like, yeah, me and that dude, we're gonna be friends, whether he wants to or not. We're just going to be friends. I've decided that. You talked about this particular cover.
Yes.
For Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes.
You talked about some signatures. And I also have this one signed by Jason David Frank. This is a bittersweet issue for me, because I bought that issue off of Whatnot. There was a period of my life where I was very on Whatnot, and I should not have been.
Yep. I have certainly been there. I'm still in recovery.
And I bought this from Hypno Comics out in Las Vegas, where Jason David Frank was doing a signing, and they had a few copies left over, and so they put them up on there, and I bought it. The time that I bought that, I had already purchased tickets to go to a convention a few months from then, near me, here in Ohio, where I was going to meet Jason David Frank. Where Jason David Frank was basically like my hero as a kid. Like, I'm not, when I go to a convention, I skip over the celebrities, the everything else, and it's just like, I want to have conversations with like the comic people that made the comics I want, where like I can talk for a while. The quote unquote famous people, I don't care about that. Jason David Frank was like the one exception where it's like, Tommy has been such a part of my life. Like, I'm willing to like pay the stupid $60 for an autograph so I can have the like opportunity to just like be there and be like, man, like, you were such a part of my childhood, and like I want that moment. And 2 weeks before I was going to see Jason David Frank, I got the news that unfortunately his life was ended via self-harm. And I was absolutely crushed in a way that like celebrities don't really get to me. And I was honestly kind of surprised about the way that it sort of got to me. And
that one was incredibly difficult, I think, for all the community.
Yeah. And my wife, all credit to her, she was incredibly supportive. And like, because I didn't know that I was gonna like
have those feelings.
Yeah, I just like he was a celebrity I'd never met, and it's like I had no connection to him. And
but you do because whether we know it or not, when we enjoy their works, we're letting a piece of that person into our life.
100%. Like so to your point, yeah, I took that day. That was a hard day, as were the next few, in like a way that it hadn't been. I went to like that same convention the next year. So again, I picked this up, and I've got Jason David Frank's signature on it, and Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger, is there at that convention. And like I started thinking about like so first off, I have this this comic that is signed by Jason David Frank. Do I also get it signed by Austin St. John? And now I have it by like the two quote unquote most important original Rangers. I have a separate clean issue that's a 9-point plus. Do I get that one signed and CGC is there? Do I get that one done? And ultimately, it's just like I realize I can't do anything to this one because it means so much to me that I bought this, even though I was like, I don't need that. I'm gonna see him like so soon. I ended up getting this right before he ended up passing. That it's like I can't do anything to that. Like it is, I will never touch that issue, and it's like anything else, it wouldn't matter as much as that. And so that ended up being like such an important thing for me. That I like at this point, like I don't care about any of the other actors signing like my comics, just because it's like I have that, and it would almost like demean how much that means to me. And I realize that sounds crazy because like that's a stupid thing to say, because like Zach is, Tommy's my favorite Ranger, but like Zach is like shortly behind there, and I would like Walter E. Emanuel, like I would love to get signatures on things, but like I can't have him sign that. Like that's not a thing that I can do. And like even just like talking about that like that's a all of that is a thing. But before I start crying on stream, I have one last thing to show here, and that's my set of the X-Men the X-Men homage.
Homages. Oh yes.
So we have a set of 4 issues that are connecting covers that when you put them together, they are all the different issues of the original X-Men #1. So we look at those right there. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Oh my God.
I will be honest, the Rita Magneto cover is my favorite. She's got that
super bullet tits. Super bullet tits. Who gave her super bullet tits?
Excuse me, those are absolutely the Madonna cone bra that's going on right there.
I know what the bullet tits are. I understand the
I know you know what they are, but I'm just saying.
Why are hers so
it's just
wildly severe? Hers are wildly severe.
And probably I'm, the fact this is the annual. My favorite of the original X-Men was the Magneto cover, which this is homaging, and just again, that face, look at that face. That is someone who is so delighted in being evil, and then again, we got some real sharp and pointy boobs. And then
I'm really sad that Hot Rita has nobody to hook up with in Power Rangers Prime.
Oh, she's going to get there. There is no way that they decided to make Rita that hot, and they're going to be like, listen, you're just going to hang out back at the the base, and you're just going to do your thing. There is going to be a point where they're going to be like, all right, Rita, look at how hot we made this dude for you, because you can't just have Rita being like, I'm going to take on the establishment while also I'm evil. It's if you're evil, you've got personal goals that you're working on. And boning that hot dude that has the opposite objectives of you, that is absolutely 100% a personal goal.
I mean, I feel like it should be.
But
listen, Rita just been going around making power coins for the new Rangers. I just feel like maybe her heart started in the wrong place, but who knows?
So I know that, and again, I've seen the background. I know that there are things there. How familiar are you with the other series of Power Rangers outside of the main one? Okay, great. So one of my favorite issues of the entire run is from the Go-Go series, written by Ryan Parrott, and it's Go-Go Power Rangers. I believe it's issue 26, and it tells basically Ryan Parrott's interpretation of what the background for each of the main villains is, and it also get this off of me as the big one. I make us side by side. This is just.
I'm sorry. I'm the dude. That was the last thing on my mind.
Thank you. I was gonna say I wanted to be side by side. I'm not trying to dominate this stream right here.
No, but look, you're supposed to be in what some of us call, and I mean this with no secondary objective, the position of power for when you're doing show and tell. That's how it's supposed to work.
Sorry, the position of power is do I put my legs out like this? I hold. Is that what we're looking at?
You almost have it right. You almost have. Just put a little more swing into it. All right, there we go. All right,
so
good.
I go right there, and then
put your hip. Exactly.
Okay, so I can do it. Put my back into it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do it. Put my ass into it.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. So anyway,
I was not expecting that, but thank you.
Listen, if I'm not getting canceled tonight, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that myself and I'm pretty sure Joel are having a great time.
I hope so. I would hope so. I'm that's what I want. I want people to have a good time here. Anyway, in Go-Go Power Rangers, I believe it's issue 28. There is one of my favorite comic stories, not just in Power Rangers, because it's my favorite Power Rangers issue on its own, but I think it might be my favorite villain issue in all of comics. And it tells the story basically of everyone who was in that dumpster and who was part of Rita's entourage and why they're there.
Oh.
And it's fantastic. With Rita, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but basically her punishment isn't just that she has to be 10,000 years in that dumpster. So, you get Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you get Rita. After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
Right.
What you get in that is the punishment that wasn't just you're imprisoned in this dumpster for 10,000 years, but for those 10,000 years, you have to live out the life of every single person that you impacted. In your crimes where you were mass genociding, anyone who had a person die, you need to live out the life of a person who is close to that person, and we're going to force you for 3 days at a time. You are going to feel their emotions as you get to know that person that's close to them, and then feel the heartbreak as they die. And then after 3 days.
But Rita, because she did not complete her imprisonment, she did not complete the rehabilitation in there.
Oh, she never rehabilitated, but she still has to go through.
That's supposed to be the point, isn't it? It's supposed to rehab you, and then you are actually
right. Alpha, Rita's escaped. Yeah, so she didn't finish that, but it's also it's her going through all of that, and then it's everyone else who's with her. So it's like Goldar is a fucking ninny, but in the within the course of this, it's an explanation why this gold swordsman with sword is so bad at what he does, and it establishes how he and his people were these proud warriors, and now he's brought to kneel in all of these things. And it's issue 28 of Go-Go Power Rangers is one of my favorite comics of all time.
That's okay. So I'm vaguely familiar with that story, and it is crazy.
Yeah.
But but my interpretation is Rita, never fully rehabilitated because she was broken out when she wasn't supposed to be.
I feel like that's part of it, but I also feel like it's even I think she was confronted with the evils that she did, and it felt terrible, but I think she also is such a villain that she rose above it. You could tell she was I can't, this is horrible, but after a certain point she was still just nope. It wasn't just she got over it because she got out early. She is Lord Vile's daughter. She is there to do her thing, and no one is going to show her anything that is not going to have her still just try and get over it.
But the thing is, we do know in one version of Power Rangers she has rehabilitated later.
Zordon Wave doesn't exist in the comics. That
ever at all? No
correct.
Version?
Yep, ignore that. Because
anyhow, it just hasn't happened in the comic yet. That's where I'm standing.
I mean, you can think about it that way, but also in the course of the comics, it ends, and now we've got a relaunch of it that has nothing to do with the show.
Okay. but still, that's an awful lot of lore to put us through as readers for it to be like, oh, and she just wrote, when do people rise above it by saying evil is my path? I've never, like, I'm just saying that's like that's a lot for me to take.
So, as someone who has promised to write a reading order and has read all of these things and has talked about this, I do think the series suffers a little bit from the fact that it was started by Kyle Higgins, and then Ryan Parrott was writing the sister series, and then they said, hey, when Kyle Higgins was like, I'm not going to write this anymore, they said, Kyle Higgins, do you want to write this main thing? And he wrote it for a long time. And honestly, I think the best that the series ever was when he was writing it. And then Ryan Parrott finished at issue 100, and I think the series sort of finished there. But it was selling really well. And they said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and have someone else do it. And so they had Melissa Flores do it. And she started writing her own run on it. And the first few issues, it was like, okay, I like what you're doing. I'd like to see what happens. And then like, oh, we need to finish this right now. And she basically just rewrote the Shattered Grid arc. And it was like the same thing that happened, and it was not great, and it then finished up.
Interesting.
Yep. And do not. I'm going to tell you right now, whatever you do, please do not highlight Renee's Spawn's comment, because that dude is a fucking asshole. And Renee, fuck you. He's a friend of mine. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you?
And you know what's funny is I have this set to, you have to be a subscriber for at least 5 minutes. And so that means that he took the time to subscribe, sit, wait, and strike. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that sounds like the kind of thing that he would do. He's also an asshole, so he would plan all of that kind of thing. Renee?
Is he a friendly asshole?
Probably pretty friendly. He's also going to be at Heroes, so hopefully he will be someone that we will have to remember and we will have to help.
I love it. We're going to keep
as James says.
I am like, man, okay. So you've got, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just going to say that I am intrigued with some Power Rangers-ness.
Talk to me how you are intrigued, because I would like to think that if there's anyone on the internet who's going to tell you about Power Rangers stuff, it's going to be me.
We'll talk over DMs about it. We'll talk over DMs.
All right.
We have, I'm not used to 3-hour and 32-minute streams, just so you know. And by the way, I am doing comics and coffee in the morning. So I want to know, why does it look like there's been a big gap in videos on your channel? Like, why did you take, it said I'm taking 100 days off, but it's like you took 6 years off. Like, what's happening?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was going on here with a narc who was going to try and get me to confess to things.
Bitch, what's the booze for? In vino fucking veritas. Are you familiar?
No, I've never heard of that. Excuse me while I pour myself another glass.
You've really never heard in vino veritas? In wine there's truth?
Cliff.
I feel like you have. I feel like you have.
Sweet summer child.
I'm not a summer child, but well, maybe.
Sweet summer child.
The summer child because of Inception and summer? Because like that's probably more likely. I was conceived.
Slant. So why have I not made a video? First off, fucking how dare you?
I dare. I dare so.
Yeah, no, you dare. So the first thing I have to ask is how dare you?
I dare. I just dare.
I don't know, man. Like
Did God put gay people on this earth to not dare, to not tread, to not light the way?
No, he did not. God only put straight people in here, and only the sinners chose to be gay.
Well, then let me use my flames from hell to light it.
Um.
Oh my God, I feel like Ghost Rider right now. I love it.
Well, then let me put the penance stare on you.
No, it should be me.
I mean, wink, 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 and.
Oh, all right. James has a comment.
Yeah, of course he has a comment. Of course, James. James is so judgmental.
James, I love you for being here all this time. Really.
And powerful. James, when was the last time you put a video up? How dare you?
Listen, James is clip master. I was like, hey, James, I need a few clips. He was like, coincidentally, I've already started some of these clips. Let me wrap that up for you and send you a link.
Oh, 100%. Like, the second that James find out you... Like, James... So, James's YouTube profiles is... I can't remember what his name is, but he's from Kim Possible. He's nicknamed Oracle. No, Ron was the one who would go on missions with Kim.
Yes.
He is... Wade is who he is. So Wade was the computer one who Kim would contact. That's James, but James is also everyone kind of refers to him as Oracle because he's the ghost in the machine who does that. However, he is more than that. He's just everything. The second that he finds out you exist online, he knows everything that is there and goes on. Yeah. Ben, the type to bring is a case of triple IPA style to a 4-year-old's birthday and go a little hard on the piñata. I mean, Renee, you're not wrong. Renee, unfortunately, knows me a little bit too well. You'll notice I'm a white person, and I do love my IPAs and my double IPAs. And we talk about a few things like that. I don't try to take over a kid's piñata, but those are things that happen. So anyway, back to James's point, and I do have a video that has been filmed. In fact, actually, as soon as we get off, I'm going to edit it, and I am planning on it going up live tomorrow morning. I think I can make that happen. If not, it'll go up live Sunday morning. But I'm someone who's very habit driven. When I'm out of a habit, I don't tend to do things, and it has been a little while since I've uploaded a video.
Okay. Well, we're going to trust you, and I'm glad that it's filmed.
Don't trust me. Don't, have you met me? Don't trust me about anything I say. I'm a fucking liar.
Someone's getting a spanking at Heroes Con. The black underwear rim is not helping you, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was trying to get things going, but apparently...
No, I was going to say, clearly at Heroes Con, there's going to be groping, swinging, butt patting,
Wait. By the way, it seems like we are winding down. We cannot do that while my buddy
are winding down.
Tyler's... I realize, but my buddy Tyler Smith has just come on right now. We need to stay longer, a little bit longer for Tyler.
Oh my God! But you're such a... What am I gonna do with you?
What do you mean? What are you gonna do with me? You're telling me that through the course of this evening, there is nothing else that you want to bring up with me. I'm sorry, but Tyler just came on right now, and Tyler is one of the best humans I know. He's also within the industry. That is a very minor thing because just also he's a great person, and we should be excited that Tyler is here.
I'm excited Tyler's here. I'm excited for anybody who's dropped in. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
If you could reboot any comic book series, what would it be? Who would write it? Who would draw it?
There we go. This is the kind of thing that we're looking for. Okay. So, I would go ahead and I would say Wonder Woman. Because
the nerve, okay.
I love Tom King.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that Tom King is not for everyone.
I don't know who for everyone is. I think Wonder Woman is fabulous.
I agree with that. I'm saying I would reboot Wonder Woman, and I would keep Tom King on it, and so it would be a separate title. But I want to make Wonder Woman more accessible. So the Renee, you shut your goddamn mouth. I mean, with the state of comics right now, there's never going to be a point where everyone is going to be happy with everything, but
I'm trying to wrap my head around Wonder Woman being more accessible. What the fuck do we got to do now? What do we?
Are you kidding me? Like, Tom King is in current writing standard is like the most divisive writer.
Dude, the only thing he did in this series that I found divisive was when he is in the flashback where she slapped Hippolyta. That was it.
I'm not saying he is, because again, I am someone who loves Tom King. I'm saying that this is a series and it's kind of fucking exhausting, where it's like it has the people that love it and people keep talking about it. And yes, Omnibo, we are still talking about it. But there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how drunk I am, Omnibo.
Listen. We already had to talk about those kinds of people, and those kinds of people can't find Wonder Woman accessible. They can go fuck themselves with a magic lasso.
Okay. But there are also those kind of, like, there are people who are not those kind of people who are, on Wonder Woman who might have a problem. And I can understand that because Tom King is a divisive character.
Well, what is the problem?
Think about the way that series is being written. That entire series is being written from the perspective of Sovereign. Wonder Woman is supposed to be the celebration of women within comics. And the idea that this entire series, like the women comic, is written by a man as it's all going on, I understand how, like, that's a criticism that I have seen for it, that I'm like, yeah, I kind of get that. Like, it's a man telling a woman's story. And personally, as I read it, I love it. Like, my favorite story of Wonder Woman is Dead Earth, where it's not the traditional story. But I think that can still exist. But I still think that, like, you need that in the moment story where, like, the woman is, Wonder Woman is herself the character who is leading the story, as opposed to someone else controlling the narrative. And I get how that is frustrating for people with the character. I would love to hear what you have to say about that.
I stand by what I said. I know some people were nitpicking the issue where her and Superman go shopping for a gift for Bruce.
No. That was, I love that. Like, if anyone has an issue with that, I'm going to find you. I'm going to fight you. and
Yeah,
I'm going to punch you in the back of the head repeatedly.
you should, because when people come at me that the series is garbage, they often use that issue, right? And they're like, "Oh, why would Wonder Woman ever behave that way over a parking spot?"
Have you ever tried to park in a spot and then someone else took that, and and you have not felt that way? Because if so, you live in a place where that story is not relevant to you, but also I will punch you repeatedly in the back of the head.
James said it best. Wonder Woman with George Perez is my favorite. There's a lot to love in George Perez Wonder Woman.
Listen, I love George Perez Wonder Woman, but the idea that any comic cannot take place after this, I think, is anathema to the character. And so even if you love George Perez Wonder Woman, you should be open to other interpretations of the character. And I think this has been a wonderful, wonderful one.
All right, you never answered the second half of my question.
What's
first
the other
part was this: you gave me this weird, drawn out, "I'm gonna keep Tom King" thing, right? Then you devil's advocated on him, and then you never gave me what artist you're gonna put on the series.
On Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
No, I mean, my favorite artist that has ever drawn Wonder Woman, with all apologies to George Perez, because I'm wrong about this, because George Perez is the greatest artist that has ever drawn Wonder Woman. But I'm putting Daniel Warren Johnson on Wonder Woman. I'm sorry.
Art?
On art.
Oh, go to hell in a handbasket. Art, my God, that's disgusting.
Yep.
Why don't you just tell me Mike Mignola? Oh, my God.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that. But no, I'm sorry.
This is teetering on it. This is teetering on it.
No. My Wonder Woman series that I can't wait to read is written by Kurt Busiek and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson. And I am subscribing to every cover that's happening there. I am supporting everything. It's getting canceled at issue number 12. And I am going to continue telling people how it was killed before its time and how this was the perfect series, and you all were missing it. But yeah, no, that is my perfect series. I can see you are very upset about the idea of any of that. You have no positive feeling in your face about what I have suggested.
I love Daniel Sternberg's work on Wonder Woman.
I also love Daniel St. Pierre, but he won't be involved in any of the projects I'm suggesting. Also, no. Renee, this is being extended up there, but
why are you showing your pits off for Renee? What is going on?
Oh, well, Renee said my tribal chief is Daniel Warren Johnson, so I had to respect, and I had to show my ones. Listen, I'm not trying to show my pits. Granted,
I know, but unfortunately, that is what's happening here.
I would say unfortunately. I
am saying unfortunately.
No,
unfortunately.
Are you not a fan of like body hair?
Only when it matters, and right now it doesn't matter because you need to answer the next question. Any creator or series right now that you think is a must read?
Okay. All right. So first off, my buddy Tyler Smith is writing in, and again, he is the first person. Too accurate of a description of how that series would go, covers, cancel, etc. So first up, if anyone is reading any series by Comic Craft, Tyler is one of the people there, including Hush 2 We are very, very lucky to have that in our lives. Very excited about all of that. Okay, so what am I most excited
As
about?
I like to call it, Hatush. Hatush.
I like to say Hush Tua personally.
Hush Tua?
Yeah, because like the way they were doing it, it was H2SH.
Right, that's my problem with that's where Hatush came from.
Yeah, so I liked Hush Tua as if it was you spit on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I liked. I mean, I gotta say, as far as like currently ongoing, I have to put it on
Turtles.
on Turtles, because this is a series I have been repeatedly trying to exit. When it comes to the stuff that comes out monthly, I try to only do smaller indie titles where like my monthly dollars are helping to support that title. For things that are bigger, I'm like, I can just buy that and trade. It's fine. It's whatever. But Turtles, they did the dirty, rotten sneak of saying the first few issues they were going to do Joelle Jones, they were going to do Cliff Chang, they were going to do Rafa Albuquerque, they were going to do things like that. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm not going to not grab those, so I'll do those. And then I'm like, but after they get done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and jump off and go to trade only. And Jason Aaron, that asshole, has been writing such a fantastic series that I have yet to find a time to jump off. To the point that I have purchased an actual page from the series.
Oh, a page from the series.
Yeah. So.
Oh, damn.
For issue 3, I got this page of Raph versus Michelangelo.
That's beautiful.
And this week, the new one came out, and it's been so good. And I've been so mad because, again, I want this to be just a little bit worse. Where it's like...
Where you can let it go. Just let it go.
But not fully. Like, I want it to still be the point where, like, I enjoy this and I want to keep reading this. And it's like, I don't need to do this 100% weekly or, monthly. But every time I read this and I'm like, I'm going to tell my comic shop, I can drop it. It comes out and I'm like, fuck, this is so good. Why is this so good? Everything about it, whether it's Jason Aaron's writing or Juan Ferreira's art, is just like so perfectly suited, and I don't want to stop getting it because like I think about like I'm reading this now and I'm like, it's gonna take that much longer. And I would love for this comic to be a lot worse than it is. And it's not, and I'm mad that it's not worse than it is.
I feel like your madness is insane. I've never been mad that a comic is good. I do get upset when I have to choose between my darlings. That is a problem. Where I'm like, wow, I really like these 14 series, but my wallet certainly can't adjust for that.
Well, and I know especially that you were cutting them out as you were getting ready for Heroes.
Yeah, well, currently I'm down to 0. So
no comics.
Yeah. I gotta make it. I gotta make it to Heroes.
Would you like me to read you this comic right here?
Would that help you? No. And
I am meditating with the soft-bellied mud turtles along the Ganges River. Did you get that? The air smells of teak wood and mangrove flowers. I am at peace with the world.
Is he? Is he?
Oh, he absolutely is not. The whole point about this is that Leonardo thinks that he is going to basically remove himself from the chaotic energy of everything that he's done, and he is going to absorb himself into the peaceful energy of the tortoises along the Ganges River in India. And he can't do that, and it drives himself crazy. So he goes there, and he basically sits, and he waits, and he's just like, this is going to be my life. I'm gonna leave my brothers alone. I'm gonna leave everything that goes along with being a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and I'm just gonna sit along these, and I'm gonna be here. And he realizes that like that's not gonna be his life, and he can't, and it drives him crazy.
I mean, it makes sense. The last Turtles thing I read was The Last Ronin, which of course the reveal of who the last turtle is was such a big deal, and the transformation that took place.
I will say, as someone who was reading that monthly, like that was a pretty great series. Like, yes, obviously
You're frozen. No. Oh, this is bad.
What's bad?
That you're frozen. I didn't hear a word you said. That.
Oh no, I'm frozen. Am I not frozen now?
You're not frozen now.
Okay. I'm a big fan of The Last Ronin. And I do think they effectively used death of characters to sort of establish the stakes of what they were doing. So it's easy to kind of look at that as like, oh, you know, like you were saying, like, oh, it's just The Last Ronin. And in the small case that anyone who's listening to this who hasn't heard it, like I'm not gonna say who that is. But they reduced the broad characteristics of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of 4 characters into 1. And I thought they did that very well, where that one character throughout the process embodied everything that the story had. And then as it went on, he carried all of those people with him. And at the very end, we found out who he was. I thought that story was very well done, and they had kept. I think they did a good job of keeping that character's identity a secret throughout, and then revealing it. As someone who was not a TMNT fan, how did that read to you?
No, it was a great story, like, and it was a great reveal, and you know, and I liked how it all came together, you know, and what that meant for the character. But I gotta tell you, we have to wrap up because I'm officially cramping. I am officially cramped.
What parts of your body are cramping? Please let me know. I would love to know, so that way I can help diagnose this.
My inner thigh.
I would love to talk about your inner thighs. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna stand up and we're gonna take our pants up. So we're gonna unbutton. We're gonna unbutton here. We're gonna zip that down. And we're gonna put that down. So then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our thumbs and we're gonna place that up, and we're gonna just go ahead and slide that down. We're gonna slide that down. I don't see you doing that. Cliff, what's going on?
I'm a little horrified. Also, Gore Vidal likes to Gore Vidal, Last Ronin was faithful to the original Mirage run. Yeah, I can see that. But also, I really have to go to bed. I have to go to bed.
You don't seem to be going to bed. So again, okay, all right. So we're going to look at this. So again, we've got thumb right there. So we're gonna keep that. Cliff, dude, are you still there? All right. Well, apparently Cliff went away. All right. So everyone, I don't know where Cliff went, but hey, I've been BunkmastaB. You all have been amazing, and I'll see you next time. Please go ahead. If you've been liking what you've been seeing, please go onto Cliff's page. Not just subscribe, but hit that bell, because there are so many wonderful things Cliff does. Not just interviews with different people here, does videos. He's also with the Council of Comics. Thank you, Tyler. I very much appreciate that. Bo, thank you. We appreciate that. It's 1 a.m. in New York. It's also 1 a.m. here in Cleveland, where I am, and I'm very sleepy. Save some for the fishes. I don't know what to tell you. I'm very sleepy and would like to go ahead and go to bed. Christine?